on June 12th. And of course, the land crushing protests, police and crush protests, they how much just like 10 cents. I tried to reenact 10 cents again, but they crushed them, arrested them. And they want not anybody to do that. So, the man will be clear now.
Hey.
Biafra International has always had well-developed and not based on personality, because the main objective of Radio Biafra International and our Biafrans can give them knowledge through professionally delivered information, education, and enlightenment towards ultimate goal of restoration of the nation of Biafra. So don't forget, Radio Biafra is all one word. And join us during our podcasts, and you'll be glad you did.
Stop spending time with the wrong people. Life is too short to spend time with people who suck the happiness out of you. If someone wants you in their life, they'll make room for you. You shouldn't have to fight for a spot. Never ever insist yourself to someone who continuously overlooks your worth. And remember, it's not the people that stand by your side when you're at your best, but the ones who stand beside you when you're at your worst that are your true friends. Stop trying to be someone you're not. One of the greatest challenges in life is being yourself in a world that's trying to make you like everyone else. Someone will always be prettier. Someone will always be smarter. Someone will always be younger. But they will never be you. Don't change so people will like you. Be yourself, and the right people will love the real you. Stop trying to hold on to the past. You cannot start the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one. Stop being scared to make a mistake. Doing something and getting it wrong is at least 10 times more productive than doing nothing. Every success has a trail of failures behind it, and every failure is leading towards success. You end up regretting the things you did not do far more than the things you did. Stop getting involved in relationships for the wrong reasons. Relationships must be chosen wisely. It is better to be alone than to be in bad company. There's no need to rush. If something is meant to be, it will happen at the right time, with the right person, and for the best reason. Stop rejecting new relationships just because old ones didn't work. In life, you'll realize that there's a purpose for everyone you meet. Some will test you, some will use you, and some will teach you. But most importantly, some will bring out the best in you. Stop trying to compensate against things that are not there. And stop trying to compete against everyone else. Don't worry about what others are doing better than you. Concentrate on beating your own records every day. Success is a battle between you and yourself only. I just have to repeat this. This warrants a repeat. Stop trying to compete against everyone else. Don't worry about what others are doing better than you. Concentrate on beating your own records every day. Success is a battle between you and yourself only. Life is too short to spend time with people who suck the happiness out of you. If someone wants you in their life, they'll make room for you. You shouldn't have to fight for a spot. Never ever insist yourself to someone who continuously overlooks your worth. And remember, it's not the people that stand by your side when you're at your best, but the ones who stand beside you when you're at your worst that are your true friends.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Radio Biafra is proud to launch its new mobile app. This app makes it easier for listeners to access live and repeat broadcasts at any given time. The app is available on Android and Apple stores and is free to install, so just search for Radio Biafra into all one word to get the app on your device.
Radio Biafra International broadcasts are always anchored on well-researched information and not based on personalities, frivolities, and foul languages. The main objective of Radio Biafra International is to empower Biafrans and give them knowledge, through professionally delivered information, education, and enlightenment towards the ultimate goal of restoration of the nation of Biafra.
So don't forget, Radio Biafra into all one word.
And join us during our podcasts, and you'll be glad you did.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people. Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
War is hell. But war is also an incredible teacher. A brutal teacher. And it teaches you lessons that you will not forget. During an operation that I was in charge of, when all hell broke loose, we had multiple units out on the battlefield fighting the enemy. We had friendly Iraqi soldiers, we had U.S. Army soldiers and U.S. Marines, along with small elements of my SEAL team. And then the fog of war rolled in with its confusion and chaos and mayhem, and with its gunfire and enemy attacks and screaming men and blood and death. And in that fog of war, through a series of mistakes and human error and poor judgment and Murphy's Law and just plain bad luck, a horrendous firefight broke out. But this firefight, it wasn't between us and the enemy. This firefight, tragically, was between us and us. Friendly forces against friendly forces. Fratricide. The mortal sin of combat. And the most horrific part of war. And when it was over, and the fog of war lifted, one friendly Iraqi soldier was dead. 2 more were wounded. One of my men was wounded. The rest of my SEALs were badly shaken. And it was only through a miracle that no one else was killed. And then I told them that there was only one person at fault for what had happened. There was only one person to blame. And that person was me. I am the commander. I am the senior man on the battlefield, and I am responsible for everything that happens. Everything. And I will tell you something. It hurt. It hurt my ego. It hurt my pride to take the blame. But I also knew. I knew that to maintain my integrity as a leader and as a man, I had to take responsibility. And in order to do that, I had to control my ego so that my ego did not control me. And when a team takes ownership of its problems, the problems get solved. And that is true on the battlefield, it is true in business, and it is true in life. So I say, take ownership. Take extreme ownership. Don't make excuses. Don't blame any other person or any other thing. Get control of your ego. Don't hide your delicate pride from the truth. Take ownership of everything in your world, the good and the bad. Take ownership of your mistakes, take ownership of your shortfalls, take ownership of your problems, and then take ownership of the solutions that will get those problems solved. Take ownership of your mission. Take ownership of your job, of your team, of your future, and take ownership of your life.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Good morning, listeners all over the world. Good morning, Biafrans and well-wishers of the Biafran movement and of Biafra and Biafrans, of the struggle to retain ownership, complete ownership of our land and our lives, those who support self-determination all over the world. We welcome you to the broadcast today. This is Radio Biafra International, brought to you by Biafra Restoration Movement, BRM. You can get us through different platforms such as internet, Facebook, YouTube, RBi App, Tunin App, for RBI and satellite. We welcome you to another day of broadcast and look forward to your being able to assimilate some very hard facts that we're going to put out today. There will be our usual panels. They'll be joining us as we broadcast. We have our able veteran Army Flo Kandu, who is here with us today. And we'll be having Chuksi Kerigwe and Oziomeme, our dear sister. My name is Odimo Alo, and I'm your broadcast anchor today. And with me will be these array of Biafran, educated and informed Biafran panelists. We inform, we educate, we persuade towards righteousness, so we enjoin you to listen. We expect to bring a broadcast as usual that is pertinent and relevant to issues that border on our very lives. As it is with our tradition, we would like to say a prayer. We are Hebrews, we are Israelites, and we will want to say a prayer or two before we start according to our culture. And this is the most important part of our existence. That is why we cherish it, we reverence it as we reverence and venerate our Maker and our God, the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of our Lord and Savior, Yeshua HaMashiach. So let us pray. From Luke 1, verses 68 to 75, he says, "Praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel, because he has come to his people and redeemed them. He has raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he said through his holy prophets of long ago, salvation from our enemies and from the hand of all who hate us, to show mercy to our ancestors and to remember his holy covenant, the oath he swore to our father Abraham, to rescue us from the hand of our enemies and to enable us to serve him without fear in holiness and righteousness before him all our days, to give his people the knowledge of salvation through the forgiveness of their sins talk about consent towards its creation, and we can see the result of that today. For those who are talking about consultation, they tell the Biafrans you have to consult this person and consult that person. They have to consult you before you rise and fight for your freedom. And then who consulted the Biafrans? Nobody consulted them. They were having problems and they began to fight for freedom. So there was no consultation to create Biafra. We were merged to create Nigeria, sorry. We were merged into that by force, Biafra as it was existed as it is, existed even 500 years ago. Yes. And this is simply a conglomeration of people of the same descent, people with unifying culture. That is the point. Culture is a way of life, and some peoples have different ways of life. Even on individual basis, people have different ways of life. But then when they can't survive together, they have to spread out. That is what happens. There is division, where those value systems cannot harmonize. We do not believe in Sharia law. We do not believe in Islamic value system. We have all ours, which is a Christian value system, Judeo-Christian value system. And we must stick to it. And Islam cannot be forced down our throats. And as we have seen, Islam itself has been a religion that being forced down people's throats. They are not allowed to express any other view within an Islamic society, except to be Islamic. They are forced, and they claim that this is God that is doing this, that God is forcing you. And if you don't want to believe, you will be killed. The penalty for apostasy, for leaving the religion, is death. You ask yourself, why? That's because the truth, they are trying to make sure they muzzle the truth so that the truth does not come out. Because if not to muzzle the truth, they will allow people to speak their minds, as God that created us does anyways. But we have the freedom to make our choices, but it is the consequences we don't have freedom to choose. So we'll go to today's news. The very important news that we have today is we will discuss the interview of Muhammadu Buhari, the impostor of Muhammadu Buhari, the interview of, I think it's Yusuf Mohammed that is named, the one from Nigeria, Mauritania, wherever he is from. It's only in Nigeria that you can see this type of thing happen. An impostor is said of since Adam, there is no country that this has happened. And this is done by the Fulani people. And it's because of how wicked and how corrupt the culture of Fulani people are that you see this type of thing happen. And the Nigerians themselves, most of them are corrupt and very wicked. That is why they can look at this happen and they don't complain. They don't do anything, Rather, you see the media systems, they're all talking about the East. They only want ways to criminalize the Igbo and criminalize Biafrans themselves so that they can run roughshod over them. All they have been doing against Biafrans since 1945 is not enough. They want us disappeared from the face of the earth. That is why you see the media, they would leave every ravages that Fulani terrorists have done all across the 36 states. They will not talk about it. They will never mention it. But they will tell you that, there are some people destroying police and this thing in the East. All the destruction, all the release of Boko Haram terrorists, the induction of them into the army, to the extent that the Nigerian army chief said so, start crying out. So many people know that. And the fact that they extort us, they extort from Biafrans, they incarcerate them unlawfully, they torture them, they rape them, they kill them and disappear their bodies, they take their organs and sell in the international market. You see? And the reaction to it, they want to bring it forward as the problem. And this is what people are listening to in Nigerian media. We must resist that type of thing. And hence, there was an interview that was conducted, and this impostor came up and, was the guest, arranged interview. That is what it is. And I would like to pull certain things from, what even Afenifere themselves said, today is June 12th, it is a Democracy Day for mainly people from the Southwest. Yes, Democracy Day. They agreed to it. Nobody else agreed to Democracy Day. It was them that agreed to it, because we know that June 12th, 1993 was the election then was the freest and fairest election in which Moshood Abiola won the election, and such. Yeah. But the problem we have with people from the West is that they're condemning justice only when it affects them, not when it affects others. But then we are seeing that changing today. We are being wiser to understand that we have to stand together in order to resist Fulani oligarchy. Because Fulani will say north, north, north. How many are there in the north? There are very few in the north. They have conquered the rest, and they are using them to fight other people. That is all that is going on. It's called Fulanocracy. That's what RBi calls it. Fulanocracy. Fulanocracy. The conquest by the Fulani of others in Nigeria. It's all about conquest. It's an Islamic value system. It's an Islamic doctrine. And we are going to continue to have problem with it because they're indoctrinated with it. That's what's in their head. There is nothing you can do other than to resist this. So the Nigerian government has become terrorist because Mieti Allah has been voted as the 4th terrorist organization in the world. And the president is a patron. The Sultan of Sokoto is the grand patron. So they're all terrorists. That's all they're doing. And you can see how that they are blind. Well, they know what they're doing anyways. The only thing is if those people who cherish their freedom choose to either stand strong or you give up. It is just a choice that you have to make. Well, choices have consequences. That's all we're saying. Just remember that choices have consequences, because it was choices that was made in the past that got a lot of people in Nigeria where they are today, all of us. These choices are made in the past because they were busy violating people's rights, and everybody kept keeping quiet until they get to your house. Then you begin to complain. So, if you start today to resist this, it's good. Today, if you start today, it will be good. If you wait a little longer, it will be worse for us. And we should know that. That is why we're resisting. The war has already begun a long time ago. And you still wonder why people move around like there is nothing happening. You still wonder why people act like there is nothing happening. Nothing to defend themselves. What are you waiting for? You're waiting for when they have killed 50,000 again, as they did in 1966, or 100,000. Because eventually, it's a lot of people died of their wounds and all the rest of them that got. Is that what people are waiting for again? This makes you want you to think. You are waiting for when you are surrounded and enslaved and put under siege, and they starve 2 million again. Then you begin to fight when it's too late. No. This is the earlier you start to resist your enemy, the better for you. And we're telling you that. Don't think there's nothing else this will have in mind except to exterminate you. They hate you, they hate your gods, they hate everything about you. And I don't mean hate lightly. It's a more than 100% hate, if there is anything like that. So you have to understand that. And they have shown it. It's not as if they haven't shown it. The evidences are there. So for those of you whom also they have subjugated in the north, all these ethnic groups in the north, what we are asking you is when you're fighting for the Fulani, you're in police uniform, you're in this, you're working for the Fulani. They are using you to make themselves stronger because virtually they have taken over all the security apparatus in the country. And you can see it yourself. When they are using you, we are asking you a simple question. When, this fighting for Fulani, which you're doing, who will rule over who? Is it you will rule over Fulani or Fulani will rule over you? That's the question you need to answer for yourself when you're fighting. So we encourage, people to do something about this situation. You have to fight against Fulanocracy, government of the Fulani by the Fulani and for the Fulani. Fight against this terrorist government. Do not ever succumb to what they are doing to, where were every Nigerian and they seized the security apparatus, seized everything on the army to the navy. How did you do that? And they had to seize everything. How? And then they use the Igbo. They always front the Igbo because they know you have malice for the Igbo. They know you have jealousy for the Igbo. So they will use that jealousy to play on you. That's what is going on. They tell you, look, at Igbo, this is Igbo, Igbo is this, Igbo is that, and this, that. You know, that's something people, at least a lot of people admitted they fell for it prior to 1966. Why are some of you falling for it today? That is the question. You know, you look at an issue, you know who is doing the wrong thing. You refuse to, you know, you are waiting to use jealousy. When there is jealousy in your heart, there are consequences for it too. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. We used to talk about the North, where they sacked the Igbo, and after sacking it, all the benefits they would have gotten from people being there, they lost it. You see, the North now is the poverty capital of the world and terrorism capital of the world, as you all know. And these people are the ones who are telling you about how to build a country. What else are they telling you that that you have to believe? When they cannot make their homes, they cannot develop their homes, they cannot practice democracy because it's against their religion. They know that. It's only Takiya politics that they're playing with you. You all know that. So why continue like this in a way that doesn't make sense? That's why we say Biafra. Biafra is the answer. Biafra is the answer. And Biafra is fighting for everyone. If you get free, if you want to join Biafra, good. If you don't want, which oil we will give you oil, give you everything you need. But you don't need to go and serve the Fulani in order for you to be free. Because you are going deeper into jailing yourself even more. You are confining yourself into a very oppressive situation. You are falling deeper into the pit of oppression. You're falling deeper into the pit of depression, naturally, you know, where you lose your rights. And that is a fact. You know that. Because living amongst them, there are no rights. But if you live amongst Christians, you have your rights. It's there. That is why Christianity is the light of the world, not Islam. I'm telling you. You know, you all know what I'm saying, and it's there. So let's look at the interview. Let's check, since the Ohaneze did not respond to this interview that was done. But Afenifere did respond. Can you imagine? Ohaneze did not, because Ohaneze is not serving the interests of the Igbo people. That is obvious. They have bought it over, and you know, some men say, oh, well, how can you insult your elders? Look, don't insult yourself by being bought. Because you are affecting our own very survival. It is about our survival. How can you use our existence as a people to be trading politics? What an insult to the generality of people. And there are a lot of people who are older than you who are in Biafra. Stop making Biafra a thing of it's about young people. Who told you it's about young people? There are people who are older than you, a lot of them, that are in Biafrans. So, you know, this idea of, oh, well, you know, they classify the struggle, Biafran struggle, as that of youth and the other one is the elders. That is a wrong representation. And this is the problem with Nigeria. They always lie. They are liars. You know, like they do in the TV all the time. You know, all these media channels where you are told to report, they destroyed the police station in the East. That is the problem of Nigeria. But all the Fulani destruction for years, for decades, that is not the problem for Nigeria. And you people are listening to this. Most of what you listen to from Arise and Channels TV and so on, Tinubu's media stations and all the northern media stations are garbage. They are completely lies. Thank God for social media. That's why they want to stop the social media, ban it, you know, crush it, so that you can only hear from their channel. Only what they want is what you hear. Nothing else. So let's look at this. I will do a little bit of analysis on it. Then I'll bring in our co-panelists to talk about it. But let me highlight some of these things. The title of the speech is actually Our Irredeemable President. This is Afenifere, that is our irredeemable president. You know? But you know, Vanguard went and put Buhari takes delight in ridiculing Igbos, utterances utterances of presidential Afenifere. This is the title that the Vanguard went and used. Buhari takes delight in ridiculing, like we Igbos are the people you ridicule. We know that is a lie. Buhari is the impostor and Fulani they are ridiculing themselves. They are not ridiculing, you know, they're ridiculing people who are better than you in every every indices of development, they are better than you in that. Yet you're stealing their resources. You're stealing oil, which is their resources, and you can't make anything better out of it with your life. Can you imagine that? They are the ones that own the oil wells, but they can't make anything out of anything better. They cannot develop the North, the Islamic North. They are all concentrated because of the destruction of their mentality by the religion that they have given themselves onto. Oh, all they want to do is destroy Biafra. But it's not going to work because our God will not allow that to happen. So the Yoruba pan-social political group, Afenifere, has used President Muhammad Buhari, has accused President Muhammad Buhari of taking delight in the cooling boats by the presidential utterances, which we say he cannot. He doesn't have the ability to do that. You know, he's rather ridiculing himself. And we will see. You can't say it's ridiculous, and then you don't give down. When you see that it was himself that ridiculed. Let's look at this and see who was ridiculed. Frankly, let's look at what they published. The Group Secretary General Chief Shola Abisemi, in a statement in Akure in reaction to the president's interview on a rise as regards IPOB, Afenifere, said that the president takes delight in the Igbos, which he used IPOB to represent. Thus, to him, the Igbo and their territory is just a dot in a circle of the map of Nigeria, which even if they secede, could exit to nowhere. Since the elders and youths of the South Side assured him of not being part of secessionist agenda. Even if they secede. We will talk about this because that is the heart of this article. He said he couldn't have been reacting to the IPOB, but the Igbo, who he said had business everywhere. Also, he says his utterances were very unpresidential and in the mode of common expressions with some unidentifiable northern organization. So you can see that the utterances were very unpresidential and the mode of common expression. So they are telling him that he's also ridiculing himself. You see, Afenifere's statement entitled "Our Irredeemable President reads Buhari has sheer contempt for Nigerians as an unrepentant tribalist." That is what they said. You know, he's worse than this. This is basically praising him. They are going to praise the Fulani. The Fulani are, they act like sub-animals who have they are completely uncivilized. That is why they roam around, take people's lands, rape women, destroy farms, kill people. The government will give them guns through the border to slaughter people. They are genocidists by nature. And this is what we are resisting. Anybody saying something else different from what we have as fact of how these people behave, it is on you. But you cannot force that view on anybody because the evidences and facts are stubborn. They are irresistibly stubborn. You cannot defeat them. You need to know that. First, I continue what Afenifere said. First is arranged interview on Arise television. I love that. Arranged interview is not a substitute for the clamor of Nigerians that the president, that the father of the federation should speak to Nigerians in this critical time. And I say, why do you just need the man to speak to you? The man should do his job and make sure that he enthrones equity and fairness, equality, justice. No, the Fulani cannot do that. They are worse than sub-animals. I don't want to call them animals because calling them animals is an insult to animals when you say that, because you know that animals cannot do this type of thing that the Fulani is doing in Nigeria. And then you see them boldly, I'm chief of army staff, I'm chief of defense staff, this, that. We talk to Igbo elders, we talk to the governors. Where is justice and fairness in your Nigeria? It is nowhere to be seen. And you're suppressing and giving excuses, moving around from point A to point B, people. You wonder. Do the people have brains at all? Are they thinking? No, because they are bold with their evil. They believe that they will succeed in oppressing everybody, in caging everybody, in taking everybody's land. There are more than 1,472 Fulani camps in Western Nigeria. 5,000 of them have been run into IDP camps in another country, in Benin Republic. They are there from Oyo State. Or is it Ondo? Yes. And we know, from Oyo State. They are now in Benin Republic. Can you believe that? 5,000 Nigerians. But these open the northern border and bring in bandits in and tell you to defend and live with them and tell you it's either your land or your life, and then close the border in Benin Yet they're claiming they will write on your face. The Fulani will tell you there are arms everywhere. People need to turn in their arms. But they don't, but the Fulani is walking around AK-47 everywhere. These people are worse than animals. And we have said that before. You can see what they are doing. No place in the world are people being insulted in this way, manner. The insult on your own intelligence is too much. I'm telling you. But let me tell you one thing. Truth will always defeat evil. And that is what we're into this. And you will see it yourself. And for those of you who cannot stand with the truth, I'm sorry for you. Because this might cost your life as it's costing the lives of your relatives and so on. Hunger and starvation in Nigeria has been brought by the Fulani because of their government policies to strangulate the East, to strangulate the Igbo. They from one thing to the other, and eventually some other Nigerians joined them. Those of them that did that, eventually hunger and starvation is now Nigeria itself. Can you imagine that? These are man-made problems. How many of your relatives have you buried because of hunger and starvation? How many of your relatives have you buried because there is no medical facility, no medical materials to take care of them? No medicine, no hospital, nothing. It is caused by Fulani who have seized the government. They are the ones since 1960. That is the point. It's not even something that's and they say it. Ahmad Bello said it himself. What are you people denying? What is wrong with you when you see all these things and you still do not accept what is a fact right before you? You are ready to, you always want to attack soft targets, people who are fighting for their freedom. You go and tell them, oh, this is not the way you have to do it. Oh, this is not the way. That's where you have courage. But you don't have courage to face the person who is making your life a living hell. What type of life do you have? Where is God? And Sundays, all of you troop to church. That is good if you go to church. But then when you study the scriptures, and can you please stand on what is right? Where is your faith when you have no action to back it? Your faith is always bent on hiding so that God will jump down from heaven and do everything for you. And the things you're supposed to do, you don't do it. Yes, we can resist evil when it comes to fornication. We can resist evil when it comes to stabbing somebody. We can resist evil when it comes to lying. We can resist evil when it comes to cheating. But when you don't know that those things translate to government. But when it comes to the sins of the government, yes, you resist sin and evil when it comes to everybody. When it is sins and evil of the government, you don't not resist it. You do not. You cannot. Because of what? What type of half gospel are you getting? Yeah, you have people who claim they are leading people spiritually, and this is what makes preaching this gospel more difficult, because people are looking at them. They don't preach it properly. When all their concern is their institution and breathing the institution, they never condemn the evil that is there. Very few of them do. More of them are doing actually now. But it's time that the church will understand that you need to stand up for what is right. It is what is called righteousness, to stand up for what is right. Let us go forward to this so that we don't digress entirely. I continue reading. It says, first, is arranged interview, not a substitute for the clamor of Nigeria, that the president, as the father of the federation, should speak to Nigerians in these critical times. You know, that's why I say, why is it speaking that we need? We don't need speaking. Do something. The action. Run the country in a fair way. Yeah, but you won't. That shows there are different value systems. Secondly, his engagement was full of lies. This is Afenifere telling you now. So you can see who is ridiculing himself. He said, I want to tell you, he's ridiculing himself. That is what this is. They said his engagement was full of lies, inconsistencies, contradictions, and utter disrespect for the ethnic nationalities, including their elected governors. This is Fulani for you. That is what they do. You know, because like I said, without them, I don't know who else can be so violating of fundamental human rights in that country. People with such what abysmally irredeemable value system, negative and evil and pernicious value system, as we see the Fulani have. He says he is pathetically unschooled in the constitution, which he often claims to guide him in spite of his manifest flaws. On the lopsided appointment on the armed forces, the group said, the president's claim that his appointment in the armed forces is based on merit and seniority and not to satisfy geopolitical zones is a violation of the letters and intent of the provisions of section 217 to 220 dealing with the armed forces of the Federation and appointments thereof. Specifically, Section 2173 provides the composition of the officer corps and other ranks of the armed forces of the Federation shall reflect the federal character of Nigeria. And you know there is no federal character. The East, the Igbo, and the East is Igbo and their brothers, relatives, and neighbors, wonderful neighbors. They are the ones worst hit, and they know that. Those of them in the armed forces and so on, they know it. They can't speak because all around them and their bosses are Fulani people. So they can't speak. If you get speak, they eliminate you. They give you positions where they know your powers. They control the armored divisions. Yes, ammunition. Ammunitions and every other thing is the North, is the Fulani. They make sure they control it. Understand this? And then the others can never control it because they're afraid the others will use it against them because they know what they're doing. That is why they're doing that anyways. So I go for it. It says, even his latest appointment of the Chief of Army Staff is flawed, particularly on seniority. The Constitution never contemplates nor approves of the situation under Buhari, where 90% of the commanding heights of the armed forces and security architecture will be from only northern Nigeria and only the two zones of northeast and northwest. Okay, let me read that again for those who are talking about one Nigeria still, who think there's another way to get around. It says 90% of the commanding heights of armed forces and security architecture, because including the police, everywhere, they are from northern Nigeria, from the north, the Islamic north, northeast and north is not middle belt. Middle belt is not north. Stop classifying middle belt as north. They held middle belt by force. And in that north itself, Fulani is minority in the north. I gave you, RBi gave a rundown here in some program in the past and talked about how many languages you have in Nigeria, 370 something. You have just about probably 18 and maybe 20 something. But at the end of the day, it came about that about 300 languages will be classified in the north if you add the middle belt. You classify it as northern here. But we know that middle belt is not north anyways. So all these, they are not Fulani people. Most of them are conquered people. You are the ones carrying the guns for them. Doing everything. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Everything for them. But they are conquering your land. They are taking your land. They are killing you. They're doing everything against you. Your free will, you cannot exercise your free will, but you're serving them as well. So 90% of the people in commanding height are Fulani security architecture. In any case, anyone familiar with his history of Buhari's leadership would appreciate that he's the only Nigerian leader, even among military heads of state, whose government himself, second in command as chief of staff, supreme headquarters, Idiagbon, and top echelon were all northerners. You see, it was after his death that many Nigerians knew Idiagbon was Fulani of Ilorin. Even Idiagbon himself was also Fulani of Ilorin. So you know that. On the governors, the group said that the president owned up to the statements of Garba Shehu, his most uninformed spokesman, an uninformed spokesman, that the ban on open grazing by the governors was illegal and he could not make a new statement that would contradict him. So you see that? The governors are putting a ban on illegal grazing, open grazing, which is illegal. They're making it against the law because of the problems it causes. And remember, there are fewer land in the south than you have the north. But they refuse to graze. They refuse to put ranches there. How would a government call a terrorist organization that is a member of, bring them Yetiala to Abuja, and then sign off 100 billion naira to them? Can you imagine that? And they don't. All they use it to do is buy arms. They don't use it to build ranches to conquer you, the Christian, to conquer you in the Middle Belt, to conquer you in the southwest and southeast. That's all they are doing. That is all they're infatuated about. Because it's an order given to by their father, Uthman Danfodio. That Madu Bello eventually seconded that and spoke about that as well, and told them and urged them to move on. That this country called Nigeria should be an estate of their great-grandfather, Uthman Danfodio. So it is their estate. They talk, Nigeria is their property. You see them talk like that. That's why they strut around with arrogance and tell you, don't say this, don't say that, don't do this, don't do that, you cannot do it. We're not talking about the law anymore. They are the law. That is why we say when injustice becomes law, resistance becomes a duty. Fulani is the law in Nigeria. So I go for that. They stated he is delighted that governors our chief security officers without any security powers. Yet he asked 2 of the Southwest governors to exercise a non-existent power to deal with the terrorist headsmen who he acknowledged bear arms, even as foreigners, against Nigerian citizens. They are telling the soldiers, oh, deal with them because they know you don't have the arms, But they don't send the military to go after these Fulani people. They only send them about Easter because Igbos are most hated. Why are they hated? They're hated because of their success. They're hated because of the blessings of God upon them. But our God will defend us too. You will see how this thing will end as well. Because we trust in our God, not in you. Who are you? Who do you think you are that will be afraid of you? No. Our fear will fear God, not men. That's how Biafrans are. So this is all channeled towards destruction of Biafrans. But we are exposing this so that everybody, those who claim they don't know, they know. And then you begin to do something about it. The idea of I know something that is true, but you just sit there. There is something wrong with that. You need to be doing something. You need to be doing something. You need to ask yourself, what can I do? I'm not the one to tell you. Ask yourself, what can I do? That's what makes you a human being, So they want these governors to, they tell them, okay, go after the herdsmen, and knowing that they don't have arms. But they will equip them, they will use the armed forces to protect them, and the armed forces to kill people, because the armed forces are now Fulani armed forces. That's what you have in Nigeria. It's not Nigerian armed forces. Nigerian army. Also, you're killing Nigerian army now, but they release Boko Haram and don't tell me to the army. What are you talking about? So, and they are killing people, innocent people everywhere. So it is pitiful that our president has no solution, rather the braggadocio of reopening grazing routes in states by repossessing such lands for his beloved herdsmen. And you heard him in that interview talk about reopening grazing routes. Can you imagine? In this time and age? You see how I said these people have no insult. They insult you. They don't think you're anything to listen to. That is the point. You have to understand. So thinking they're going to listen to you tomorrow, you're joking. You're joking. Except you're going to go there and become their slave. That's it. And you get, like I said, life is about decision. You take the decision. What do you want to do in the face of Fulani, ongoing Fulani aggression, ongoing Fulani invasion of people's land? Invasion that started in 1804. And by now, they want to take over the whole place, as you can see. So it says here, quote, I meant to finish this article. Let the president be told that the Yoruba people are solidly behind our governors, that not an inch of land in our territory will be carved out for any grazing reserves or cattle colony. The group said that if the president has any respect for his much vaunted constitution, he will know that he has no such power over land use. Nemo dat quod non habet. And then I will say to the Yoruba, begin to act. You youths, act. If they continue to intimidate you and you cave into the intimidation, you will end up being slaves without any. And that's what we're also telling our fellow Biafran, to begin, that you must report, record, and also you must record any abductions, any torture, any extortions, because we must also not just report and record them, we must publish them. Disappearances, we must also publish them. Perpetrated by the Nigerian military and police and security agencies in our land. We must build communities, organizations which work out methods of self-defense. Street by street, you should do that. Our people say that our people don't listen. That is the fact. They don't listen. And because of lack of political knowledge, we wait until things start happening to us. Then we begin to ask, what is it? What is it? But all this time, years, and people have been saying something about it. If your movement, you must understand how to know movement. Establish contacts between yourself so that you know when they're coming, how they're coming, know what you have to do to defend yourself. And until you start having meetings, you say, oh, there's sabo. If you are there fearing the sabo, you never do it. That's the point. When people come together, when you get number one sabo, use him as an example, the others will run away from that nonsense. You see, that, do something rather than just complain, because when you're complaining, nobody's going to do anything for you. I'm telling you. People used to say before, when the movement started, long years, they say, oh, why don't you tell UN, tell US, tell Britain, the question I'm asking you is, when US and Britain were fighting their own wars, did they call you? Did they call you? Why are you calling them to come and fight for you for what?
we please be reasonable? There are things that that just complete. You are not ready. You have to live on this earth. It is not workable. Whom have you fought for? Whom came and called you to go and fight for them, and you went there and fight for them? So why are you calling them to come and fight for you? And you're calling them even for diplomatic. In the diplomatic, they are concerned about their interests, not you. That is why you have to fight for your interests. Do it in such a way that they will be concerned. But they cannot be concerned when you're sitting at home doing nothing, and then you want them to be the world to come and rally to your. Oh, they're killing me. What do you think Fulani would do when they'll kill you? That's what they've been doing since 1945 to us. What else have they been doing? The Islamic North, riots, this, that. They've been killing us since 1945. What else do you expect now? You say, oh, it was Nigerian army. He came and said, what do you expect when you're looking at that Nigerian military man? He'll kill you. That's what they do. They kill innocent people. What do you expect when you see that police who is, if they are not Northerners, they're indoctrinated completely? You got to believe them because they hate you. So when they see you, they want to kill you. That's what they do. If they weren't doing that, we wouldn't have a problem today. And you can see that once you resist, the problem becomes your resistance. They make resistance a problem. Oh, you know, he killed policeman. Oh, you know, he destroyed the police station. Yes, you have to resist those who are killing you. Though that, and also support these boys fighting, support them. Do everything you have to do to fight them. Government did not create you. Government is not your God. You worship God, Elohim. You worship God, the maker, Adonai, our God, the maker of heaven and earth, the God of Israel. You worship Yeshua, Jesus Christ. You don't worship the government. Government was created by men. And if the government is not working, then you scrap it. Don't think that it is all, no, because he's president, because he's army chief, because what is the army chief supposed to do? He's not to protect people. How did the army and police get to killing people? The thing killings you see that are going on in the east, like killings are everywhere in the country. They want to focus on the east. The one on the east, when did they start? Prior to that, why are they not prosecuting the military who was killing our people, innocent people? They just look at you and they're full of hate looking at you. Next is that they will kill you. You have to understand that. The evidence is there everywhere. And we should be worried of the dangers that are there today. And we must do something about it. Going back to this article, I want to raise that one topic where it says about the Igbo territory. It says the Igbo and their territory is just a dot in a circle of map of Nigeria, which even if they secede, could exit to nowhere, since the elders and youths of the South had assured him of not being part of the secessionist agenda. So you can see the hatred by this statement, this quote. You see, this is hatred in this man. And then these people you hate, you want to become also part of Nigeria by force. Why should people be part of a country by force? It is their right to go. It is your right to go. It is your right to go. It is your right to go. It's your right to go. If they refuse and they decide to fight you, bring what you fight them back. They should not hold you prisoner. They have no right to do it. And that is the fact. And then you say, oh, the territory is just a dot, you see? They, playing the games that the British started when they came there to reduce us into small people. They say, oh, it's 5 sister states. But you and I know that Igbo is in 14 states. 14 states, not 5. So, for the Igbo alone, we are neighbors who are the same with us in DNA. They are also all Igbos. That's what we're saying. We are not saying that they are answering Igbo. But when you do the DNA, what shows up? E1B1A is our DNA. E1B1A cross revariance, even into Ambazonia, they are E1B1A. DNA is out today. So, for those who think they can lie on us, it's not going to work. We and Ambazonians are one cross revariance, the DNA. If you are in abroad, please do DNA with Igbo person. And then you find out yourself. Science is now helping us with history. Yes, exactly now. Proving certain things about history regarding us. Science. Who could have thought about this day that it will come to be? So they can't, even if somebody can deceive you, will it deceive you with DNA again? Why are you not looking at that? Your culture with them. Is your culture more related to that of Fulani in the north? You know, but your culture is similar with those who are in the southeast and some parts of so-called southwest and midwest. I call it midwest, yes. You know, culture is similar. It's not with those in the north. Where do you think similarity of culture comes from? Where do you think that? It was something that from ancient times they've been doing together before they spread out to different zones to live. So, you know, what else do you need to be told? What else do you need to be told? And then he wants to make us a dot. You know, so, oh, we're a dot in a circle, the map. You know, they want to shrink the Igbo, shrink us into one dot somewhere, is it? In the map. But it's a lie. As we will see even from the Henry Wilkes Commission, which I will read a little bit part of it, you know, so that we can just a little part of Henry Wilkes Commission 1958. And why do we use Henry? Henry Wilkes is a colonist, but somehow because he's a foreigner, you know, there is some level of neutrality in his report, and that should help our understanding of exactly what is happening. You know, that's why only in Nigeria did they create a new geographical point called South-South. Never in the world is there any geographical called South-South. That was targeted to making the Igbo smaller. So it's okay, what about the Igbo in the South? And some of you who are falling for that, John or Ogoni or that, you fall for that, at the end of the day, it will be yours. Your problem, that's what it will be. Because if, you know, some of you, you know, tell your leaders who are looking for political turf where they can be eating oil money, because that's all they is, but they cannot develop your land. They cannot set you free from your problem. That is what those traditional rulers and some of them who agree with Nigeria are doing. So you can understand. Not about you. If they are fighting about you, I'm telling you, you see a market difference in your land, in what's going on. But they are not. They are fighting to make sure that they are controlled because they think Biafra will neutralize it. Yeah, Biafra can neutralize it. Why? Because there will be democracy. But your land will be developed. Everybody will develop. That oil spill will end. That is the point. Don't use the interest of one person and make it the interest of all. If you do that, you will fail. That is why we also, who are in Enugu, where they call so-called 5 southeastern states, you know, you see how we're fighting our governors. Yes, we're not bowing down to our governors because they are wrong. It's as simple about wrong and right. If you don't start with what is right, at the end of the day, you pay. I'm telling you. Stop shying away. You're saying somebody should not intimidate you and say because somebody has a position, traditional ruler, governor, president, therefore right becomes wrong. No, stand for what is right, no matter the title that guy is taking. You know, forget him. He's there with you, going to serve the devil, let him do so. But you cannot do it yourself. That is the point. And that is the way to freedom. Because when you stand for what is right, I'm telling you, God will know that you're standing for what is right. It will be obvious. Your choice is obvious. Yes, but he will make a way for your deliverance because you have done something. You have shown your will. You have shown where you stand. You have shown your value system. You have shown your principle. You have made your choice, which is righteousness. But if you choose not to do it, then, okay, you make the choice for what is wrong, then you complain. Like I said, we got here because we are making that type of choice. So when we talk about Henry Wilkes Commission, we are doing that simply as a way of showing certain historical information, the politics of population that was going on. Henry Wilkes Commission was on September 25, 1957. The Minorities Commission. It was set up by the Colonial Secretary on the recommendation of the London Constitutional Conference, you know, in 1957. And Sir Henry Wilkes was the QC, Queen's Counsel, and was the chairman of this commission. And eventually they gave their report, you know. They gave their report. So the commission arrived in Nigeria towards the end of November 1957 and and began its sittings, which were to be held in all parts of the country almost at once. So, and you know, they addressed, one of the issues they addressed was the fears of political as well as ethnic minorities. Political and ethnic minorities, they addressed it. And it's amazing that the reports they gave mainly was interpreted only towards the east. You see that? You know, it wasn't for the north. because the minorities of the North are many. Yes, but it didn't address it. It didn't address this, demand for the creation of Midwest region. I want to, read some certain reports which he gave, even regarding population. Population. This is Henry Willing's report. And I read, it says, demand for the creation of the Midwest region. The complaints of minorities in the West were that the government at Ibadan was Yoruba in feeling, and that it would be impossible for a non-Yoruba to become premier. So Mr. Dennis Osebe had to give up his position as leader of the opposition to Alhaji Adelabu because he was an Igbo and therefore a Kobo Kobo. See, that was what they used to call us then. So, he had to give up the position. The appointment of Chief Okoro Dudu, former Western Commissioner in London, ceased because he was an Ishikiri. See that? The situation in the West are the same. More than 2/3 of the population of the Western region were Yorubas, about a quarter being Benin and Delta. They were Edo speaking. There were about 500,000 Igbos in Asaba and Abo divisions. There were also the Shekiris of Warri and the Urobo people. These other tribes constitute only 1/3 of the population of Western region, estimated to be about 6 million. So you see that the population of the Western region was estimated at 6 million. And the other tribes are 1/3 of it. So this is Willing's commission now, estimates. So the commission said that it was the sheer preponderance of Yoruba numbers which had led to a demand of Midwestern region. There was no single piece of Western legislation which, taken by itself, seemed to justify serious alarm regarding the rights of individuals, so long as it continues to be the government's intention to seek re-election by popular vote. There is reason to hope that it will increasingly become its objective to show that it is impartial, that non-Yorubas were not underrepresented in the legislature compared with Yorubas, nor in the public service, nor on statutory boards. You see, that was the idea. Make sure non-Yorubas are not underrepresented. That no allegations were made that the government had used the police improperly. That although the Midwestern area had been neglected in certain aspects by the present government and its predecessor, yet there was no evidence of deliberate and vindictive discrimination or even culpable neglect. Yes, there's little neglect in the family. You see that in living in the family. That doesn't mean that you're not family. So that's where some of you make a lot of mistakes. You bring the case, you want to live with, it's full and new part of your family. You think they will listen. Have they listened to you? They're taking up all the oil wells there, they own it. Your own wells, they take over it. And they tell some of us that, oh, you are not Igbo. You have to, Igbo is that, Igbo is this. What kind of nonsense is this? What kind of nonsense is this? When what you do is to join your brother, your neighbor, fight, get your freedom, of course you control the resources in your land. You say, oh, Igbo do this domination. If Igbo were to take, I always ask people who talk this, if Igbo was preparing to take the land of the Ijaw, so do you think the Ijaw will be able to resist the Igbo or survive resisting the Igbo? What do you really think yourself? And they've been there for centuries. Nobody has done that. But all of a sudden, Fulani comes to you, other people come from you 1,000 miles away, and from 1,000 again, and tell you that your neighbor wants to take, and you believe such a nonsense, and because of it, you've enslaved yourself. They are fighting your neighbor. They have been killing your neighbor. They've been doing everything, so you know what their intent is. Why believe in it? And this is what this Buhari is happening on today again. They're holding on to it because they're seeing it as a way to ensure that they weaken their greatest challenger. That is what is going on, and you know that. They want to weaken their greatest challenger. They're doing everything possible to ensure that they do that. Don't cave into them. Don't cave into them for your own good. Because as you're seeing, sometimes they say, okay, let the 5 Southeast states go. They might allow South 5 states to go, and they will go. You see yourself with Fulani. You say, oh, then you say, I want to go too. I cannot stay with Fulani. Oh, now you can't stay with Fulani. Huh? You think they're going to allow you to go? Then your weaknesses and the stupidity of your decision will be very clear to you, because they will use the Navy, use it and conquer you and hold you down there. That oil, you know what's going to, it's already happening. So you only make it worse. Now, this is an advice for those who want to think. You can listen to anybody who wants to tell you how bad Igbo is. You know, we've been hearing it, isn't it? And who has been ruling Nigeria since 1960? Is it Fulani? That will say, oh, well, Igbo was there. In 1966, yes, they were in the government, and you saw how things were working there. All of a sudden, 1966, they were cleared out completely. But remember that Tafawa Balewa was there from 1966 as the executive head of the government. And then by 1966, the Igbo were completely routed out. And since then till now, look at your Nigeria, where he's taking you. The only Southerners who have ruled Nigeria have ruled Nigeria by accident. Somebody like Olusegun Obasanjo. After Mohammed was assassinated, he was second in command, so they had nothing to do. They put him there. He stayed for 4 years. He went and begged them not to kill him in the north. And then after 4 years, he just dropped that this thing and ran away. Next again, after June 12th, which is what you're celebrating today, they refused to hand over power to Abiola, who won the election squarely. An election conducted by Igbo man, Professor Humphrey Nwosu, and used option A4 to ensure the election is not rigged. But you saw how Fulani stopped it. For those of you who are anti-Igbo, remember that the Igbo man that organized that election. And because it was unriggable, what he organized option A4, it was clear that he won. Because in that election, you declared the results in the polling booth. That's it. Everybody has the result. Ask me what happened. Eventually, they derailed the results. They said, no, we don't want Moshood Abiola to rule. Because Moshood Abiola, they were not sure of controlling him very well. So after that, Yoruba began to agitate. And now, how to appease them? They decided to bring somebody who was loyal to them, Obasanjo. They went and brought him and installed him there in 1999. What did Obasanjo do? That option A for which Abiola was used to win election, he went and threw it into the trash. Because with option A4, you bring through democracy. But Obasanjo decided to throw that thing into the trash. You all know that. And he rigged the election in 1999 and 2003. He and Atiku Abubakar. And even wanted a third time in 2007. So 1999, they rigged the election to bring him in, Abdul Salami Abubakar, and brought in a constitution that Abubakar himself, a forged document. Can you imagine that? Nigeria is full of all kinds of trash. Trash is going on there. But a forged document as a constitution of the people. Today, up to today, you're telling Nigerians, the people there has to be a people's constitution. They act like they don't want to hear it. All these people who are benefiting from the cheat that Nigeria is. That's why they don't talk. They don't want to tell you that. They tell you, we can amend the one that is already existing. That's a lie. If you need a people's constitution, you need a people's constitution. But they know that the people, when they gather together, the decisions will change. They will lose power. That is the problem. So we know what is going on. And after Obasanjo came in by accident because they got Obasanjo to appease the Yoruba for June 12, stop complaining, it's okay, let's use Obasanjo. Obasanjo went there, he did as much as he could do because they are still controlling him. He granted them Sharia law. Sharia law was established, and today, I think 12 of the 19 states or so in the north are still running Sharia. Can you believe that? Sharia law. Sharia law is against the democracy. Sharia law is against your fundamental human rights. You cannot function in those areas, even though you are a citizen of so-called country. So, after Obasanjo, the only other southern person that came up, we know that Shoneko was interim government for the handover. Then came Jonathan. Jonathan was another accident because the man died, who was on there. There's a Northerner. Yes, Yaradua died, and there was nothing to be done. So he came in, Jonathan, as an accident. So seeing that, and seeing that the Northerners, and today, because of the clamor for Eastern presidents, Eastern Nigeria, they know what is fair is to take the presidency to the East. Everybody knows that. But they will never do it. They want, and that is why we tell our people, stop, subscribing to this rubbish about Nigeria. Change, and don't listen to anybody. Get, since they don't want us to hold, we will fight to get out of there. We cannot be slaves to anybody. It's as simple as that. If you want, somebody says you don't want to be in Nigeria, why? What does that make it? Why is that an offense? Why is that an offense? In 2021, we should not tolerate that by any shape or form. All of you who are in Nigeria, if you want to be free, support the dismemberment of that country completely, so you can be free. We've told you about oil. We'll supply the oil for you. You know that. Even the oil, you are not benefiting from. You are dying. The people who are using that oil are using it to buy weapons to kill you. So what do you want? They are taking over your land right before your eyes. That's what that oil is serving. That oil is serving that purpose. So if you're smart enough, divide that. We can reach agreements with Biafrans, and you can move on with life. Haven't you buried enough of your relatives? Haven't you suffered enough? What more do you want from some bunch of Islamic terrorists, Fulani people who don't even have a land in Nigeria? They are foreigners. They don't have any land. There's no Fulani land in Nigeria. And they came in, not only they want to, conquer the house, conquer they want to take over the whole land. Are these people not crazy? Don't you think they're crazy? Let me read further. Williams Commission. It says that if grievances and fears were the sum total of the case for a separate state, those recounted to us so far from justifying the creation of the new state could in fact be better remedied by other means. So we can see the demand for core states here. And then you go with the eastern region of Nigeria. There were the situation in the eastern region. In the eastern region of Nigeria, there were 17 major and about 300 lesser languages. But these are dialects, if I may add. They add dialects as language. But 2/3 of the whole population of 17.5 million people were Igbos, being in an area a little over half the region. This is Williams Commission. 2/3 of 17.5 million people were Igbos. But look at here too. It says the western region estimated to be about 6 million. It says there are also the Chekiris, Warrior, and Irobo people. These other tribes constitute only 1/3 of the population of the western region, estimated to be about 6 million. This is Williams Commission, 6 million. So if you compare 2/3 of 6 million, it gives you about maybe 4 million, isn't it? But here it talks about 17 major languages. It says with about 17.5 million people, where Igbos being an area a little over half the region. In an area a little over half the region, 1/3 of the population was made up of 250,000 Ijaws who had 80,000 kinsmen in the western region. Towards the mouth of the Cross River in the east were the 10,000 Efiks and 100,000 Ibibios. You see that? 10,000 Efiks and 100,000 Ibibios. In the Cross River Valley were a multitude of small peoples. Let's say that this is not exact. Of course, population keeps shifting and fluctuating, but it gives you an idea of what the population was like then. All those things have changed now because of Fulani lies. To the east of Igbo land were the two provinces of Calabar and Ogoja, linked by common use of Efik language by the ethnic society and by resentment of the Igbo leadership. Okay, so these are things that they were taught. Resentment of the Igbo leadership. They were taught resentment. Yes. Now, so far, since then, since 1957, what have you seen? What is the result of all this so-called resentment? What is the result of supporting Adakaboro and Ken Saro-Wiwa's movement? What is the result of it? What have you benefited from it? That's why I talk about DNA. You have been confused. RBI has done a report here of different ethnicities. This is actually sourced from the Igbo State Union, of people who are actually Igbo. As at 1920s, there were people who were speaking Igbo in some of the Ijaw areas and so on and so forth. But they don't speak anymore. And because of the war, they were made to dissociate themselves from that identity. We have to understand Nigeria and Nigerian history. This game kept being played on. We will also run a series of it again, so you can see and understand. Why did Governor Ben Ayade, the governor of Cross River, tell you that he's Igbo? His father told him that he's Igbo. He said it and spoke Igbo to you. Governor Ben Ayade of Cross River State. So let us get what we're saying, about this game. But They were divided by tribal differences and particularly by some suspicions of the Bibios and Efik. The strip to the south of the Igbo land was physically divided by a strip of Igbo territory tipped by important Igbo town of Port Harcourt. They called the Igbo town Port Harcourt, Igbo town. Igbo Ocha. Yes, Igbo Ocha, Port Harcourt. Just like Opobo is Igwenga. And tribally divided between the Jaws and Ogonis also. Yeah. So you have also Igbo town of Port Harcourt. Yes, this is Willing's commission because he knew what he was talking about. So if you have 2/3 of the region, which are of Yoruba region, where it says 1/3 were other tribes, of which Igbo was what? This is 1958, 57, and he gave Igbo at 2/3 of the population was made up of 250,000 Ijos who had 80,000 Kingsmen in the Western region. You know, and I've forgotten how many. He says Igbo were, you know, in the Asaba and Abo division. You know, I will raise that number again, you know, when I come across it, which I will. So, but it says 4 million Yorubas. So there were 4 million Yorubas. And then it says in the Eastern region, 17.5 million people. 2/3 of the 17.5 million were Igbos. 2/3 of the 17.5 million would have been about 12 million Igbos, isn't it? Yeah. And there were about some few. I said there were 250,000 Ijos, 80,000 were also in Western region. Okay, Ijos. So if you look at this, you wonder what is going on. In the core states, you know, Calabar, Goja regions, if allowed, would contain about 2.5 million people. Then you had 717,000 Ibibio, 435,000 Anang, 428,000 Igbos, 251,000 Ijons, 156,000 Ogonis, and 75,000 Efiks. So we have that here. So, and these are people we are all related. We are all in Ijo too. Asari Dokubo told you that he's Igbo, that his ancestry came from Igbo. But this is Calabari. Calabari means New Calabar. So if you go there, you see Amakri people, they're Igbo people. What is all this problem all about? What is it all about? That's what we're asking you. So, because choices must be made. We are saying this because choices must be made. We don't depend on anybody. You know us. We will not depend on you. You make your choice. If you want to go, you go. That's Igbos are fiercely democratic. We fiercely defend our rights and defend other people's rights. So, but we're telling you that in this game of Nigeria going on, don't allow yourself to be played like Atakaboro was played with and like Ken Sariwa was played by the North eventually. Because they want you, and that is why I'm saying all this because of what this impostor is saying in this arranged interview, that Igbo just constitutes a dot. You know, if you believe that, it's to your own peril. So I would like to invite Mazi Hameflo Kando to speak on this issue, eventually Oziomeme and Chuksi Kerigwe to speak on this issue because it is cardinal so that our people don't get confused about where they belong to. Yeah. Mazi Hameflo Kando, if I can get Mazi Hameflo Kando to speak, that would be good. And if you can make, yeah, give us a brief analysis of this. And yes, Mazi Hameflo, you're on. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mazi Mogalo, and the members of the panel for today. I really say thank you for being present.
Somebody, there's noise in the background somewhere. Please.
Oh, yeah, yes, please. Hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on. Yeah.
We started out by asking him whether he thought there was a different vibe this year when President Biden.
Yeah, we are in a very difficult times. Times whereby the truth has been hidden, and with the weapons, we are told not to say anything. It is unfortunate that as many people are working towards our freedom. There are so many other people who are conniving with the enemies, the Fulanis, to perpetuate the enslavement of all of us. It's unfortunate that all these people that are conniving with the Fulanis, they don't know who the Fulanis are. If they do, they will not be doing what they're doing today. History has shown who they are. They never change. They have their methodology on how to put everybody under their control. We have dwelt on this on many occasions, and that is why I am proud of what we are doing in BROM and Radio Biafra International. Our business is focusing on educating our people, informing them, guiding them, and we'll continue doing that. And I will say, we are making progress. There's no question about that. If we have not made progress, look at the number of people right now that are aware of what has been happening in Nigeria, that people have swept under the carpet because of the smartness of the Fulanis who used money from the oil wells in the south to bribe a few people they feel they are our leaders to keep their mouth shut while they continue pillaging, stealing, and taking things that do not belong to them in preparation to taking over the land completely. This is very pervasive in Nigeria today. And we thank God that people are very much aware today also that this is who the Fulanese are. We don't need to say so much. If they are not taking over the land, you can see from all the positions that are being given out, and that's so country under their constitution, that 1999 constitution. Look at it, virtually over 90% of all the positions in that country, especially the security outfits, they are all Fulanese, not even Hausas, Fulanese. And yet people will go to be errand boys for them, converting to Muslim, converting to become Muslims, only to please them because they give them crumbs. That is why I'm ashamed of people from the former Eastern region who say they are our leaders and they are taking crumbs and don't have the guts or the testicular fortitude to say no, that this is not right. And this is why when we talk about the roads and all the infrastructures that we're supposed to have, we don't have them. And you complain. You complain of marginalization. Do you know what they say, the Fulani say? Go back to your leaders. They are the ones who are doing it. But they have already put the leaders in under oath that they will be their servants. And that's why nothing gets done. So my question to you all, are we going to allow this to continue? Definitely not. If our leaders are servants to the Fulanis who have made it impossible for us to have what we're supposed to have, who is our direct enemies? Our leaders. So am I going to ask you what we're supposed to do? You have to develop yourself. Get the understanding of what is happening. Yes, they have made you important because they made sure you don't have jobs to have money to take care of yourself. They have made sure you don't even have just regular cutlass to defend yourself. All these things are the modus operandi of the Fulanese in taking over a place. They first come to you with the Quran preaching to you, and before you know it, you fall into their trap. Once you fall into their trap, now the next thing they do is to get into your daily living, go into your politics. And now, before you know it, they determine that your leaders are corrupt. Just all of that's the way it goes. Once you buy into that, because the moment you say your leaders are corrupt, the next thing is to remove them. And most of the time, they remove them by force of arms. So whoever is your leader before now is killed. That's exactly what happened between 1804 and 1808. That's how the Fulani leaders were completely disseminated. That is the way the Fulanis operate. We'll continue repeating this until it gets to all the children of the country Nigeria. We are bold to say it. This is the fact. To challenge them anywhere. That's the fact. And until our people get this information, have it directly enshrined in their DNA, they will continuously and foolishly be supporting the Fulanis who give them crumbs and they take. That's not who we are. When the British people came to our area, they met a set of people, the records are there, met a set of people whose politics, whose organizational capacity has never been recorded any other place. These are the things. And they said, where everybody has job to do. You can't, there's nothing like stealing, there's nothing like prostitution, nothing happens because we are very well organized people. And we have our own leaders are leaders chosen by the people. And whoever is chosen as the leader is doing the bidding of the people. These are things the British people saw and were afraid of the Igbos. They know, we know what they know, and even more of what they know. I'm not saying this because I'm an Igbo. I'm saying this because these are facts. These are things written, just like the Willings Commission. These are things they wrote about the Igbos. And all over the world, wherever they go, the Igbos stand out. That's why they will never forgive Haiti today, because Haiti defeated them during the war they had in, I think, 1879 or so. So you should all be aware that you are hated because of who you are. That is why some of our people who, right now with what is going on, look at all the number of groups we have today, agitating groups. Why can't each and every one of them choose an area and focus on it instead of going to antagonize one another? What is going on today is because some of the people are not in sync with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, what he did. At least he had the guts to establish the ESN. We should give him credit for that. The governors could not do it. And we cannot leave our place to be porous. He decided to do it. I'm asking everybody to swallow your pride and see what you can do to help what he has even started. Instead of going around and pointing at the members of the ESN or non-gunmen and telling the Fulanis and they're killing our boys the way they are killing our boys right now. Does it make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. All right? Each and every one of them, there are areas of coverage that we should focus on. I have written this down in a number of forums and say, let the people following Nnamdi Ninas, Tunin Nadi, focus on what you are doing. You are doing an excellent work, fantastic job of focusing on the Constitution, because that's what they are using in putting down everybody. Focus on this, continue working on this, and come up with a strategy on how both the South and Middle Belt can work together. And sometimes right now, the houses will come together, will take care of the situation once and for all. Not leaving it out, oh, we're fighting about the constitution, but nothing has been done in terms of saying, this is our line of action, that is our operational strategy. That's why the Fulanese still have the guts to go into Owerri and be killing our young boys, go into Aba and killing our young boys. No, this could be stopped. It's not something to be talked about on the phone. There are areas that are taking care of that. That's why we're calling upon the vigilantes. If you're a member of this group, you know that the first code of conduct is that you do not say anything about who your leaders are or anything that will harm your own people or take them where the camps where you have your trainings are. Is it necessary? No. Simply, the person you know is, at least you know Nande Tano, that he is the leader. That's it. He's known already, so there's nothing to hide about it. So you have to know what to do. And the trainers were telling you there are certain basic things that you have to teach your people or the men. We have to be very careful. We cannot give in to the Fulanis. That is the bottom line. Yes, they will use their means, their communication media to propagate and lie. And most of the things they are saying is just a way of getting people. That's why, again, I say I am proud of what BRM
Sorry for that interruption. We're having some problems in terms of communication, radio messages, and contact. And as soon as we correct it, we'll be back. And you can listen to Mazi Hamif Lukando. And it could also come from his own end. Let me call on Mazi Chuksikediwe, see if you're there. Speak up. When we're able to connect Mazi. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here. I'll start by welcoming our people to another special broadcast from the people's favorite radio station, Radio Biafra International. Today's June 12th is another day that Nigerians are marching, protesting, what have you. Remember this day will go down in history in 1993 when everybody came out to vote. It was adjourned the fairest election that's ever been held. Unfortunately, we all know that normal elections are not supposed to be conducted with raising up hand and people looking at knowing who you were voting for, because we know how some people had to lose their accommodation there because maybe your landlord didn't want you to vote. Most people were pre-warned of who to vote, and if you voted who you weren't authorized, you already knew. So we know that modern election should be where somebody shouldn't know who you are voting for or what you are voting for, whatever party. So that's going forward. But talking about the Biafran issue, for a while now, I've seen that there was this propaganda that started a while immediately that this unknown government issue started. There was this propaganda to hit and to label IPOB ESN as the perpetrator of whatever was happening. as far as the media was concerned, as far as Nigerian authorities were concerned, there was no need for investigation. It was already made up. The mind was already made up, and most of us fell for that. This thing, we saw it coming up. We talked about it. We spoke about it. We encouraged our people to write about it. But I don't know whether those who were concerned mellowed about it. This is the way these people work. They will just develop a mindset. Already they are controlling the media. They tell them what to report and how to report it. And that's the media fell for it. They are falling for it because that's always been their game plan. And then out of a sudden, Biafrans who we know, who has always been very peaceful, now become very violent because of their ability to control the media. So they used it effectively to tag everything that happened as IPOB, ESN, and then Biafrans, Igbos perpetrating them. Everything that's happened to the North, the kidnapping happening in the North, the students being taken, nobody's talking about them anymore because this is this narrative that suited them. This is a narrative that's going somewhere. And then they went into it. They did everything into it. And before you know, Buhari was already threatened because he has a mind. The mindset Buhari has for our people is out of this world. As far as it's concerned, the Igbo man, the Igbo man from the southeast means nothing to him. He has said it before over and over and over and over again. Maybe an Igbo man from the other side, they might forgive, but once you are from the southeast, he has never been. He has this mindset that these people are not what human beings, and that's why immediately he won the election, 2015 election. Treatment. He has never looked back on giving us that 5% treatment. How most of us do not understand this is what I do not understand. How most of us will go to a man who proudly told that you give you 5% treatment is what I don't understand. How you think that the man who proudly told you give 5% will change his mind and love you tomorrow is what I do not understand. As far as it's concerned, as far as people are concerned, giving us 5% treatment is all they are setting out to do. And they've already started it before now. But this thing gave them the opportunity. We mustn't look this thing on the fact that the people who are in even the unknown government who are attacking police station and what have you hasn't even been known. Today, Nigeria is telling you, oh, they are destroying infrastructures in the south. What infrastructure is even in the southeast in the first place? What infrastructure has government put in that southeast? They will tell you that destroying INEC Shaman. When has INEC Shaman become an infrastructure? We know what infrastructures are. Infrastructures are those amenities that are made to better the life of the people. Even the INEC listen in the south has never bettered anybody's life. After all, it was after the election that somebody from the fourth position, the election organized by INEC, that somebody from fourth position became a governor. So the government has never done any infrastructure, but now they're talking about infrastructure in the southeast. And our people must know where these people are heading when they start this thing. They are not after your gains, they're not after anything that people, they're after tagging you violent, this and that. And before we knew, they started releasing press release. They even got women who can even spell their name to come on a protest or a march or a rally, whatever you choose to call it. What were they rallying about? Oh, the Igbos must choose between the southeast or whether to be in Nigeria. Who are they to give us this thing? If you look around, those women wearing the one that organized that protest, no, there's a hand behind that playing that drum for them. They told them exactly what they do, and that's how these people work. Just that most of us are not living up to that. Listen to understand that these women are not on their own. People were pushing them, and what were they pushing them? It was a coded message that we're trying to send. We don't want to, but if you work with these five southeast states, as if the southeast states is the Igbos. We shouldn't forget that 1966 when there was a coup. They said it was an Igbo coup. Who were the coup participants, or if we were to say that, it were people like Nzogo from South. Then out of a sudden, now the South, where Nzogo come from, who is Igbo then? Is no more Igbo today. No, the Igbo is not limited to these 5 South states. This is the way these people work, and our people must live. We must understand the game plans of these people. They promise us 5% treatment today to remind us that we're just a dot in the circle. And even if we succeed, even if we ends up going out of Nigeria splitting. Oh, we might not know where to go, we might not have where to go. Why? Because the same South where we attacked Igbos before in the 1966 has given them the decision that, oh, these people are, they are not with us this time around. This is a game plan. But I don't blame them. I don't blame Buhari. I blame the Southeast governors. I blame the so-called intellectuals in the Southeast. He's not even looking for them to give him, as of now, he doesn't trust them to even give him that they are not going with the people. No. He has made it categorically. I do not trust you, because normally we say, oh, what they used to tell before is that the leaders in the Southeast is not with the movement. The governors are not with the movement. This time around, he doesn't trust their own statement again. Who does he not trust? He's not trusting people from the South to tell that they're no longer with the Biafran struggle. That is to tell you that they've already understood and they've already known that these people cannot even control those who were. Because at the end of the day, whether the Southeast governors goes there and tell us they are against agitation, the truth is that they've understood that the people, the mouth of the people, the voice of the people is higher than these people. How many are there in the first place? So it's not looking for neighbors or what have you to use as a game plan to make sure that they tell us a different narrative. I don't know who is telling him. I don't know the South African that have told him that. But one thing is sure, that even that dot, very soon he will understand the importance of dot wherever you are. If we are so dotted as he makes him know, I know he would have casted us away by now, but asked us to go. Buhari is not even a believer in Nigeria. Every time he's telling us about Nigeria, Buhari doesn't even believe in Nigeria. That's why he's telling you that he's developing the railway line, is making infrastructure, is making investment to where Niger Republic, because he doesn't believe in Nigeria. And how people fall for that kind of this thing about Nigerian greatness, Nigeria being one, Nigeria being this, is what I do not understand. The man who you are supporting, the man who is telling you about unity of Nigeria does not even believe in the unity of Nigeria. Rather, his eye is over there in Niger Republic, trying to connect to his twin cousins, his first cousins, his cousins. He doesn't really care about what you think. And if really such a man is being given assurances from people who are never, who should be cutting their way, people who get killed by the Fulanis, then it's astonishing, it's surprising. I did not believe him, but if that is the case, then it should be astonishing. And we must never forget this kind of this statement that he's making today. Now, this is to dig in and know those who are really giving him those assurances that they want to remain in Nigeria, even when he's making this into turn to Niger, even when he's taking everything here, using it to develop Nigeria and connect his first cousins. So we must all understand this game plan of Nigeria, and then we must make it very vertically clear that this plan by Nigeria to target everything violence in the South is not to talk even about the kidnapping in the Northeast, in the North Centrals and what have you. Only focusing on the East. We must counter it in our writings, in everything we do. Because if we don't allow it, if a lie is told over and over and over and over, it begins to gain acceptance as the truth. So we must counter those things. If we do not counter it today, a day will come when everything will look as if it was the Igbos that caused everything, and we are the violent one. Nobody will remember how we were being murdered for being peaceful and every other something. And we mustn't forget to keep reminding the police to investigate who are these unknown gunmen. Were they sent from somewhere? Because they look as if they were sent from somewhere. Because before 2015, before Buhari came, everywhere in Southeast was very peaceful. Very, very peaceful. So how come Buhari immediately won, the Fulani herdsmen started killing people? And after those killing them, they've now graduated another thing, therefore giving him who is now using those violence or destruction of those so-called infrastructure as a new way, as an alibi to start killing our people for no reason. We mustn't forget that just yesterday and day before they were not happy, massacring our people for no reason. The Fulanis sending the Nigerian troops to kill our people for no reason. These are things we must put an iron, because this is the goal and this is where their ball is going. We must put an end with this, talk about this massive killing, arrest of Igbo youth, disappearance of them, taking them as far as Niger State, taking them in all the barracks and locking them up under conditions that even animals cannot even accept. These are the main things that is left for us now. The unfortunate thing is the so-called political and other leaders are not talking. But even if they don't talk, we must talk, because our voices are the voice of God, and the voice of God must be heard. And when we continue speaking on it, talking about it constantly, as Radio Biafra International and RBi has been doing it over the years, the world will be forced to listen to us. Thank you, as I stay behind.
Thank you, Mazi Chicks Ikedigwe, for your submissions. It's always a delight to hear from you. I'd like to call on Oziome, my sister, to comment. We have dear brother Jinawatans on the line. So Oziome, if you're there, I can be connected to you. Give us your commentary regarding the current events. And we talked about the interview. Okay, as we expect those MMA, I'd like to call on our own pillar of support, without whom you will not be hearing this this radio broadcast today. Mazi Jofochinawate, Biafran to the core, Biafran nationalist, very prominent one at that. You know, Mazi Jofochinawate, you're welcome, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, my brother. And you are very, very kind. Please, I must say this in Igbo language, my brother, because remember that Imagona Madagane Yukweko Tunke gave it here, man. So you might be dressing me with on borrowed robes. But thank you so much anyway. Yeah, the thing is that I'm going to start my comment as an Bidonama where Povana is, you know. The thing is that I am very, very, very sad. I'm sad indeed, simply because our people are not there. Our people are going to sit and watch a neophytes, a nobodies, and they cannot even understand when they are being insulted. That is the sad part. Because when somebody is insulting you, you ought to know when that person is insulting you. How Buhari described the Biafrans should arouse a serious anger in every Biafran. I am going to start what I will say number one response to that idiot, that revenant living monster that portrays himself as president of Nigeria. Yes, we are not a dot in Nigerian space. I don't care whether he talked to Wike or talked to anybody, or whomever he said he was speaking to in South or Southern, or so South, Southern, whatever it is of Nigeria. Biafrans are everywhere. Biafrans, if we decide to take even the Katsina state, we can take it. Because we have labored and we have developed that northern part of Nigeria. You see, the quest of Biafra is just a technical term. It's just a relative term. Simply because Biafrans are everywhere. We started melting iron before any human being made on this earth. So if we are aggressive people, if we had wanted to take over the entire Nigeria, even the entire Western state or Western countries, we would have done that. Because we had the technological know-how at the time. to formulate instruments of war that can actually give us a very, 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 very heavy advantage. But that's not what we did. We were preaching peace. We were preaching harmony. We were trying to everyone get along. We were basically trying to make sure that everybody understand that Ego Belu Ugo Belu, that the life of man is very important. Rather than killing people, we shied away from killing people. We didn't believe in killing people. We didn't believe in death or blood. We did not believe in all that. We wanted to make sure that life matters. And we advanced it. And we preached it. But now, here we are in Nigerian, the so-called geographical location, and now Buhari is calling us a dot in Biafran, in Nigerian space. So it is a food for thought for every Biafran to think, and those that profess to be one Nigeria to think and know if they are only a dot in the Nigerian space. Even though he contradicted himself by saying, oh, they have properties everywhere. They have property everywhere in Nigeria. Telling you that abandoned property can happen again. These are properties of those that they left to die. These are properties of sons and daughters of the people they gave only 20 pounds. Buhari cannot think and sit down and said, okay, we gave these people 20 pounds and we took everything they got, the so-called abandoned property. Now, they have properties everywhere. Who are these people? He failed to ask himself that question. And he failed to understand that question. And that even the people that he's referring to as a dot. And that is the tragedy that has befell Nigeria. If Nigerians can actually ask themselves a question, what is it that Igbo man or Biafrans have done to us? That whatever unites us is hatred of them, is jealousy and anger of God's own people. If Nigeria can answer that question and answer that question correctly, maybe that will be the beginning of wisdom for the people who call themselves Nigeria. Now, there are some of our people, everyone knows and everybody has heard that we live by the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not speak no ill or say or do anything against any single Biafran. But I'm going to tell some of them, especially the so-called Samuel Anyangu, the former senator. I don't know if you are still alive. I will suggest, my brother, if you have nothing positive to say, if you have nothing really important to say about your people, you don't have to say anything. Those of us that doesn't even have an idea of what is happening to our people, you cannot come and consign the lives of 70 million people to death in Nigeria. This generation is not ready to accept it. This generation should not accept it. And this generation is not going to accept it. We are not going to be in Nigeria, whether good or bad. It is not by force. We must not make decisions that is going to affect millions of people without asking them their own opinion. What Biafra needed and what Biafran struggle is asking is nothing but one single item. Referendum. Let us decide where we are going to be. I don't know since when has asking for referendum means asking for war. I have no idea. So I cannot even try to explain that, because you can't explain anything. You cannot reason with people who are not capable of reasoning. You cannot. You cannot reason and you cannot make right decisions then some people have a right to ask you what is going on. And that is what Biafrans are asking. What is going on? We have never been known to just follow sheepishly. We are always asked, where are we going? Where are we? Who are we? We're always asking those questions. So it's pertinent that we ask our people and ask Nigerian state, we must have a referendum so that our people can decide whether they want to remain in the same construction with some Fulanis that have nothing to give Nigeria but death. Fulanis that has come to Nigeria begging and then turn around and then assume the ownership of Nigeria. People that cannot even score 10% in a JAMB examination are now whom Buhari is propagating to be, excellent and people with lots of experience. As for Ubelu Nyalama, Ubelu Golfa, they can have it. What is wrong in giving us referendum that Biafrans are asking? If Nigerians fail to see that, if Nigerians fail to understand that, then if somebody now we don't want to war. All we're asking is referendum. But if war comes to us, we are not going to run away from that. If Nigerians think that because some of us are peace-loving and we want to maintain peace and we want to ask referendum quietly, that's all is said and done, that is all foreclosed, that is a big mistake. A terrible mistake. Because look at what is going on now. The unknown gunman is Nigerian government itself, portraying themselves because Fulani Golo Nigeria, they studied Nigeria. They know that Nigerians have very short memory. They know they can come to and say, oh, Nigerians, oh, look at this. Igbos are now the one causing trouble. And everybody will focus on Igbo, because hatred of Igbo unites Nigeria. They play Nigerians like book. And that is what is playing itself again now. It's no longer herdsmen killing people. That one doesn't matter. Igbos are not in Benue State killing Benue or even trying to chasing the governor away from the bushes. Igbos are not in Yoruba land killing people there. Igbos are not in Katsina or Kaduna or kidnapping people, even in Buhari's hometown. But Nigerians are now, Igbo, you must stop. Oh, you are causing problems. Oh, federal facility, federal this, federal that. Yeah, we call on Buhari to remove his dogs out of Imo State and out of Biafra land. Because every dead Biafran, their children is going to ask questions sooner or later. What they are looking for, they are going to get it. And we are telling the world we are not interested in war. We don't want war. But if war keep on coming to us, we have to defend ourselves. So my brother, as only when they were and only be when no be, let me just calm down a little bit and drink a little bit ice water to calm myself down, because there's a lot that is going on. And our people have to really understand that when we say that Agwo is the snake is inside the living room. What we are begging for is that we don't want the snake to crawl into the bedroom, lest he will kill somebody while they're sleeping. Thank you again, my brother, for having me and giving me this opportunity. May God continue to bless Biafrans.
Thank you so much. Thank you, brother Ejofochina Nwata, for that. Those issues which you highlighted. People, we are at war. We need to be doing something. Self-defense is your right. You know, you had Ejofochina Nwata when he mentioned that we are not anywhere killing anybody, but the Fulani who are everywhere killing everybody are not the target. It is to shift the narrative or the point of problem to become Igbo. because somebody killed policeman there. Policemen are killed everywhere. INEC offices are destroyed everywhere. What are bandits doing all over the north? And then people, the most important thing, which are people, they are killing them. And then they are now in uniform on military and police uniform agencies, and they are killing people, just like they are working with them to ensure that people's land are taken over Nigeria, taking over. You don't see the Buhari send military over there, the lands that they have occupied all over Middle Belt and the North, to remove those who have occupied the land of the indigenous people there. They never send the army to them to do so. The killings go on, they never send the army after them. It is when it comes to the Igbo, they will kill us and then we defend ourselves. They criminalize that defense and wants to continue to kill us as a result of that. Well, our people should arise and do the needful. Their people should arise. Please let nobody ever just stay and do nothing. Ensure that you stand up and defend your people. Support your people to lead. Because if you don't, you'll be decimated. It's as simple as that. You know, I want to invite Oziomeme, if I can be contact with her, to give us her own contribution to these current issues. Sister Oziomeme. While we wait for her, there are things I want to speak on too, to aid the points I've made already. I've given you already the population numbers by Williams Commission. This is never highlighted. By the way, this is also as recorded. Williams Commission, you have access to Williams Commission, but I'm reading off of Nigeria yesterday, today, and then you have ellipsis. James O. Ojiako, who worked for 20-something years in Daily Times. So he's a renowned journalist, editor, periodicals, Daily Times of Nigeria, from 1960 to 1980. James O. Ojiako. So, but you see that the issue of population is there, and I gave you the numbers here. You know, we gave the population of Western Region 6 million, but the population is only 17.5 million, of which 2/3 of that were Igbo, which is about 12 million. So we can see, and rest being 6 million, he says 2/3 of it were Yorubas, which should be about 4 million. Yeah. Okay. Supposing this is, of course, population numbers are not exact, but and then the north, you know, this Ogoja is actually, you see, they concentrated this population report. It concentrated on the south. You see, yeah. But then there are also that, like from the census that was done. I want to share with us some other information. This was spoken about Chukwuemeka Ezeife in Vanguard News of Saturday, September 29, 2012. Let me read this important excerpt, very, very important. He said, in 1962, there was a census and what was called preliminary results was announced. The result indicated that the population of the North at that time was 14.5 million. Remember, when you say North, they include the Middle Belt. The population of the Eastern region was 11.5 million, and that of the Western region was 8 million. This was said in 1962. But Williams Commission was 1958. So the figures of Williams Commission was 1958. But this is 1962. So he says, so the population of the Southwest region was 8 million. So the population of the South at that time was about 19.5 million and higher than that of the North. You see? So since he gave Eastern region at 11.5 million and gave Western region 8 million, and he gave the North 14.5, this is 1962. And this will show you how much falsification there are in the figures. They tell you this, that. They make themselves look bigger and then say we are a dot in the map and try to make us look like a dot, which is complete opposite. So you can understand the fears that they have because they are afraid. That is, they are afraid of the truth. That is why they're abandoning all these falsehoods. So I go further. It says, then 2 young men at that time, Mbazuluka Amechi and RBi Okafor, these were nationalists. Mbazuluka Amechi is still alive, by the way, now said that based on the census results, all the Southern progressives should join hands together and form the next government. That declaration kicked up a census controversy. And you know why that would have kicked off a census controversy? The North does not want the South to take over. He wanted Fulani, the North, Fulani controlling others in the North. Because others, when they say North, others who are oppressed by the Fulani accept that tag. If you divide Nigeria into half, Southern Kaduna is not in the north. Southern Kaduna is not southeast. Just let us, because we need to be using the map. People can't be saying north, east, west, wherever they like. South, south, east, east, north, north, south, west, west. You know, that type of thing. This is Nigeria. They're confused. These Nigerians are very confused, these leaders. And that's because they're very corrupt people. So how do you decipher where is north and where is south? If north and south, you have to divide the map with a line on the middle. So I urge everybody now, go and get the map of Nigeria, pull it up. You can divide it with your own eyes. Divide it into the middle. You tell me where Southern Kaduna is. Southern Kaduna is southeast. So when you say southeast, Southern Kaduna is Adamawa and Taraba, a great part of them are southeast. They are southeastern region of Nigeria. So let's stop all this game. They're in the south. So it says here, I continue, that declaration kicked up a census controversy. The lesson we learned, and what is the declaration? Declaration that 19.5 million constitute the south and 14.5 constitute the north. You see, they tell you that, it's 50-50. It is 50-50. They're equally divided and Christians are most, all those things are lies. That's not true. Now I continue. That declaration kicked up a census controversy. The lesson we learned was from the controversy and its outcome. In the course of the controversy, the population of the north moved up from 14.5 million to 70 million. So they begin to increase the numbers immediately. Change the figures, which is why you don't have any true election in Nigeria. Because the North, Fulani, are the people who instigate the changing of numbers. And then they go and register children to vote. Then they bring people in from other countries to register them and bring them to vote. Very corrupt people. And yet they tell you that their religion inspires them to do what is right. And I've told you, they inspired, their value system is from the gutter. It's worse than gutter. And by their own actions. Liars, You are imitating Muhammad. What is the Muhammad to be imitated? Killing people, raping women, raping children, pedophile, somebody who's a bandit, killing people. Why should we imitate that? Are we not human beings? Don't we have conscience? Why should we imitate that? You want to be crazy. And then you want us to support you in your being crazy, eh? Okay. What in the name of what? So it says here, so it moved from 14.5 million, they begin to increase the number of non to 17 million. Then it was moved up again from this to 19 million. You see, from 17 million, it was manipulated again from 19 million to 21 million. And finally ended up being hiked 29 million, which was double of the initial figure for the region. The East remained at 11.5 million. The East remained, whereas their own jumped from the north, 14.5 million to 29 million. The East remained at 11.5 million. So you can see the game of falsifying numbers going on in Nigeria. 15 million, while the West remained at 8 million, but was later raised to 10 million. You see that? Yeah. The increment of the figures for the West arose after the late Ladoke Akintola, former Premier of Western Region, agreed to cooperate with the political party from the North, NPC. This is the foundation of all the subsequent census that has been conducted in this country. So you see where the foundation, when they say this is population is this, that everybody likes to be bigger. But here we deal on facts. I'm sorry how you feel. Because you deal on facts, that's the truth. And it doesn't matter the number, but you have the right to be on your own, to be free, to have your own government, to do your own thing. It is your right, and we respect that. So it says this is the foundation of all the subsequent census that had been conducted in this country. So when certain people talk about the population of their own part of the country, you begin to wonder whether they really have a sense of history. Mr. Smith, a British colonial officer who conducted an earlier census in 1951, stated that after the exercise, the North was found to have a smaller population than the South. This is the British colonial officer. See? He confessed before he died that the British authorities at that time did not want that census result to stand and therefore ordered a revision which turned the table. Chukwuemeka Ezefe, Vanguard News of Saturday, September 29, 2021. So we've seen Winnings Commission, and you've seen this from Chukwuemeka Ezefe himself. these are informations that shows you the politics of where you are in, and this is what the British and the Fulani are pushing. That is why in this, if you check the regions itself, you have out of one region that is not, you have 19 states. Then out of 3 regions, which is the South, West, the Western region, the Midwest, and the Eastern region, you have just 17 states. And how fair can it be? And they went dividing everywhere based on landmass rather than population, and giving themselves local governments and states in the north as much as this is the military, northerners, Fulani people. That is their game. So, and because they gave them those northerners, and they multiply the number of people, because those people will send representatives to the National Assembly. So they multiply the number of people in the National Assembly and overwhelm the other people in the National Assembly. And they tell you to go to that National Assembly, that same National Assembly, if you have a problem, that they're going to vote on it. That shows you there is no way anything can work. And it is so clear and obvious. Let me also read this further. Old Kanu, for example, was created in 1967. It now has 2 states, Kanu and Jigawa, 71 local governments, 6 senators, 35 House of Representative members. More money goes to Old Kanu state, even without 13% derivation. You see that? Old Sokoto, created in 1967, now has 3 states. Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, 58 local governments, 9 senators, 26 House of Reps members. More oil money goes to Old Sokoto state because of this allocation. Old Lagos, created 1967, still has 1 state. The same 1 state, the Lagos, Old Lagos, 1961 and 1 state. 20 local governments, 3 senators, 24 House of Representatives. Old Rivers States, created 1967, 2 states, Rivers and Bayelsa. 31 local governments, 6 senators, 18 House of Representative members. Less money goes to them without 13% derivation. Less representation at the federal level. They have less representation, less federal presence. This is naked injustice has become the status quo that we have to contend with. You see that? Yeah. Not talk about so a state like Cross River has more land mass than Kanu, but it has 19 local governments. But Kanu, as it is now, remember, not Kanu of old, Kanu that was divided now, has 44 local governments. Does that make sense? How does that make sense? So even by land mass, you know, Cross River and Kanu, you can see the injustice that is there. It does not follow at all. It does not follow in any way, shape, or form. So these are grave injustices which cannot be tolerated in any way, shape, or form, and our people must rise up and oppose it in any means, by any means possible, and ensure that they gain their freedom. God will be with you, and yes, we mean it. God will be with you. Not we're not saying it lightly. That's why we ask our people to pray. Yes, pray when you are. Yeah, if you're at war, if you're fighting. For those of you who are fighting, just pray before you pick your gun and move. Before you set your plan and do your own thing. Because, and I've seen people who keep going and doing Odeshi and all these kinds of rubbish. They are the ones who are caught. They are ones who are caught. You know, you people don't want to listen. You keep telling me about, oh, you know, your father did this and that. Everything your father did is not correct. I've told you that. It is you left for you to compare and contrast. Oh, the British brought us Bible. The British brought us this type of talk. You know, when somebody brings something to you, it is left for you to judge whether it's right or wrong. The Bible that has a record of your own history, you have a problem with it? Okay. Who was it that answered our call when we were dying in Biafra? When they has it? Was it not Christians? World Council of Churches and Caritas? Why do you think they did that? It was because of God living in their hearts. That is why. Because of the Bible. That is why they answered the call. Whereas the world was busy doing diplomacy, their diplomacy of extortion and exploitation of natural resources. You know? No. They said we cannot wait for this to continue to happen. You know how much they lost there? You know how much this Council of Churches, people from all over the world contributing to us. We haven't said thanks to them. We need to thank them. We need to look for them and say thank you. You know? What's his name? This pilot, African-American pilot who died landing in Biafra land. You know? He has a school named after him in New York State. RBi Nathan, the Jewish guy who died. We have the young man, Jewish guy too, a student of Columbia University, who died, burned, set himself alight in the UN. Where are their families? Where are their families? Their brother, their children. We need to look for them and say thank you, even though we're at war at least too. We must find them. We must. If we don't, if somebody is dead because the time has elapsed and we were trying to recover from what happened to us initially, we will still look for them. We will still make ways to be in contact with them, to show our appreciation of the cost, what it cost their life. No greater love as a man for his friend than he gave his life for him. So we must, just like we must honor those who died for us during the first war. Time is gone. We cannot forget them. We cannot do that. Please, it will be a sacrilegious thing to do. You know, those who are dying now, who must have record, have their pictures, have their families. We need to have a massive record of these people so that the coming generations can see it. That's how you preserve Biafra. That is how you retain your essence and retain the values that you have as a people for posterity, and ensure that outsiders do not come and desecrate it, adulterate it, you know, that they don't come and destroy it. That is what we are supposed to do. If you keep talking about every other thing in your life, but you don't talk about things like this that matter, I'm telling you, when you notice, if you're alive to see that it matters, it will be too late. And like I said, most of those 50,000, the millions who were lost during the war, it happened because our people were not thinking the way they should regarding our confrontation with Nigeria. I'm happy that that mentality is leaving us now. Now that the war is on, everybody, it is your duty to market, talk to your neighbor, your brother, your sister, your friends. Convince them, see why they should contribute to this struggle. There are boys who are living in the bush, fighting for our land, fighting for our survival as a people. Yeah, they need support. Ginger your town unions. Town union, you go to meetings, you raise this topic up. That is how you put sacrifice into what is going on. You see? Because we need every support so that we can defeat our enemy. God will enable us to see our enemy, but we have to do our own part. I'd like to call on Oziome to please give us analysis. If I can be in contact with her.
Yes.
Yes.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I thank all Biafrans that are listening. I thank the panelists for the awesome job everybody is doing. I thank all those that are supporting Radio Biafra International in any form, shape, or fashion. Thank you. If you're a panelist, if you speak on the radio, if you, whatever you do to keep this radio alive, my heart, I say thank you so much. What is going on is, I don't know. It grieves my mind that our leaders, those that are supposed to be fighting for the people, are slaves of our enemies, if I may put it that way. They don't see what is going wrong with what President Buhari and his genocidal government are doing to the Biafrans, because they've been blinded by this genocidal government. They bribe them with money and they think that's the be all and end all. You all know there's a life after this life we're living. There's another life after this. The Bible says you're not afraid of the person who can kill the person, the soul, but will not kill the spirit. And unfortunately for every one of us, and fortunately for most of us, in afterlife, you have memory, you have sight, you have feelings, you have emotions, you have all of that. So, we're not going to forget, because people will reap what they sow. And then now let me direct my speech, what I'm saying to the people that are, being marginalized. You all have to stay strong in the Lord. You have to pray. You don't need an intermediary, like I said. Jesus said, come to me. Jesus is the one interceding for us. Jesus is interceding for us. He's pleading for us. Let us all pray to God Almighty in the name of Jesus. That is the only person you have to go through. You don't need a pastor to pray, for crying out loud. When you talk to your earthly father, do you need somebody in between you to talk to your father? It's the same thing. Talk to him anyhow you know how to talk. He understands you. He knows what you need before you say it, but he wants you to say it. So he will know that you have faith for what you're asking for. So with what is going on, number one, we're the ones that get the 5%, even though we're the ones that do the most work. The 80-20 rule, we are the 20% that do most of the work. But now we are not even 1%. We're like what? A dot? What is a dot in the Nigerian space? Insult. It's like pouring salt on a wound, an injury. And then our leaders are sitting there taking it. I don't know how they take it. But somehow we have God on our side and he is fighting. We just have to get out of the way and let him do what he needs to do. What I mean by get out of the way is by not being covetous with other things in life. We are, some of us are, serving idols and thinking that they will support their life and keep them alive. That is all, that is all nonsense. If you profess God, then you just stick with God. He is the know it and do. He has sight. He can see. He can hear. He can walk. He can do everything. He's all knowing. He's everywhere. So I don't know what other support you need that's more than him. The army with us is more than the army, more than the Buhari and his genocidal terrorists of government. And I call it that because that's exactly what it is. For him to allow children to be taken from schools and then not do anything. And then he sends his bandits. Whoever does, open grazing in this new age. Because you have you're grazing your animals for your own business, my people have to suffer and be killed for that. And you call that common sense? There's so many issues that are going on. But we know what we need to do. We need to unite. We did it in Biafra, the first Biafra war. This one is not an exception. We just need to, the saboteurs are, you all need to move out of Biafra land and go and join with your masters. So we know who we're dealing with. And the fortunate thing is that we know you all anyway. So you cannot escape. And if we don't know you all, God knows you all. And if you all think you're God, I'm sorry for you. So in closing, we need to be careful. We need to be each other's brethren, especially now that they are in our land, in our villages, in everywhere. And then make it seem like that we are the people causing the problem. Like Mazi Ejiofor said, or Chinawata said, how do you have unknown gunmen all over the country and they are supposed to be IPOB and Biafrans fighting? How is that possible? And then our leaders in the East are buying it because they are part of the problem anyway. They are part of the enemy. We all need to unite and fight our common enemy, who is the Fulani Islamic Jihadist terrorist organization. who Buhari is leading. He is their sponsor, he is their leader, and Nigeria as a nation actually is not even in the picture. He wants the Nigeria to be one of their terrorist nation too. But he doesn't know what's coming to him. We will fight, and we will fight, and we will fight until we win, because we will not subject our future generation to this nonsense that's going on. Time has come for us to rise up and do what we need to do to preserve our generation for the future. So I thank you all for all those that are really working and doing things. Thank you so much. And I will end here because there's too much going on. Thank you all, and God is with all of us, and we will win. He's fighting for us, and we already won. So let's go out there, like he said, go and step on the ground that we need to possess, and possess the land. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uziomeme, a wonderful sister, for that contribution. You have had it, and it's amazing. God has been with us, really. You know, a lot of people who don't believe in God, I mean, God of the Bible, I mean, not Allah, because it's not the same God. You know, it can be the same God doing different opposing things, having opposing value system. No, it's not. So, BRM has, been doing just the information diplomacy, and there are other things that we cannot divulge here. But I want to say that we thank God for the ability to do this. Because ordinarily we wouldn't have been able to do it. It's just, and I want to encourage our people to do, like Sister Ozema said, just please stop idolatry practices. That you don't worship your ancestors. You can honor your ancestors, but you don't worship them. You don't pray to them. They are not agents to God for you. Because these things are seriously provocative. If you have studied the scriptures, they have spiritual consequences, serious spiritual consequences, and we should not encourage our people to be doing that. Yeah, it's true. Some of them come and blame everything on the church. Oh, that the churches are the problem. Your politicians are the problem. They also blame the politicians. We're not saying there are no fake pastors, and they are fake. They are there. They are, for information, they've been there. If you read the Bible, you see them. Ancient times, even in Israel. But it doesn't mean that you don't. Amidst these fake prophets, you don't have Elijah, Jeremiah. There are people who represent God genuinely. So we have to be able to decipher what is genuine and what is not, and make a difference as to it. Simple. So that when people are abusing something, is known. We have seen the abuse of Christianity in politics in Nigeria. How RCCG went and joined to President Osinbajo. And we saw people like Kumuyi coming out to support Buhari. And these are supposedly Pentecostal churches. Can you imagine that? These are people who are not genuine to their faith. It's almost like a demonized people. You went to form an alliance with an Islamic jihadist, the terrorists, in order for governance. That's what they call unequal yoking. You are really unequally yoked. And there are Christians who are like that. That is the problem. And why we insist on Christian values is that we have seen what is the problem in so many societies of the world. It's about value system. That is, what do you value and what you don't value. That is what defines societies. Look at Europe, what Islam is doing in Europe. They go and bring them in as immigrants there. Now they cannot, drink water and keep the cup. And you know why that was possible? Because these so-called prime ministers and MPs that you have in Europe, they never studied the scriptures. Because when you study it, it helps you to be able to decipher evil when it's 10 miles away. You will know, and you'll be able to. If you don't, that thing, it will come like a disguise. You see yourself embracing it. Oh, we're all the same. There's freedom of religion, but you don't know that this one is not religion even itself. You see? Freedom of religion, for the rights to express your religious beliefs and blah, blah, blah. Now he's expressing Sharia, which is his religious belief, which contradicts your own democracy, your own constitutional value system of equal rights and equity and, fairness and justice. And you have a problem. Well, allow him to express his religious belief in Europe there now. That's why there's Sharia. Let him impose Sharia. Same thing we're facing in Nigeria. That is at the root of what this whole thing is going on. Because a lot of people will come and they're busy discussing, Nigeria, what was the revenue? What was the expenditure? What was the talking nonsense? Like, this is the problem. The root of the problem is Islam. Simple. We're telling you that because looking at it, what is driving these people who are killing people everywhere and doing all that, and bringing unfairness and everything in Nigeria? It is their beliefs as well. It's Islam. So please, do not deceive yourself. And this is what we get. And that is why those who are Christians and they don't want to be serious ones, you see when they act, it will show that they're easily deceived. They easily bend their values they profess to adhere to. Yeah, because they will take bribes, they will support Fulani will bribe them. Look at our governors, look at what they're doing. This complete disgrace before everybody. And they have no shame. They even met recently with some Islamic northern leaders and some, this case, Fulani generals, because this is Fulanocracy that is going on in Nigeria. They come in and then they came out and deliver a press conference. Oh, the Igbo leaders are with us. Igbo leaders say they want one Nigeria. Why must it be some few people that say whether they want one Nigeria or not? If you want to know whether people want one Nigeria, do a referendum for them. Ask the people exactly what they want. This idea of few people come in and go to say, I'm this, I'm general, I'm this, I'm minister, we want Nigeria. You are speaking for everybody? Obasanjo will come out and say, we want one Nigeria. I'm a star believer. Look, give the people the right to decide what they want. You are one person. You cannot decide for everybody what they want. And that's what we need to tell these people. Buhari, fake Buhari that is there, and his cohorts who are in the presidency cannot decide for everybody what they want. You must conduct a referendum and people decide what they want. Period. Anything short of that, everybody is in this problem. It can only get worse. And it's better you know where you stand. It's better you know which side you're on and begin to help your side. Otherwise, you may not be alive to even tell how it all ended. That is the problem that we're having. So when Buhari is talking about Igbo being a dot, I want to remind you again, BRM had done a program here about Igbo Adonidu, the migration of the Igbo people. Why we extend all the way to Edo. Igbo are not in 5 states. Igbo are in 14 states. They're actually in 15. The 15th one, I don't want to say certain things about it. If I'm to actually extend that, it will be 15, 16, 17. It will be 17 states. But they are very minute in the other 2. I mean indigenous. I'm not talking about people who just travel to settle there, who are settlers. So no, I'm talking about indigenous. Yeah. They've been there for the past 1,000 years. 1,000 years. So at least. So they are in 15 states. But we kept 14 because the 15th one, we know how we will deal with it later on, to come up later on, But 14 states, and who put them there? Who made them, and these people you're called not Igbo, Efik and this thing, you do DNA, they're the same with Igbo. I keep saying E1B1A. DNA defeats what you're saying. Go and check E1B1A. Go to Wikipedia and check E1B1 and check the natives who you see cross-revariant. That E1B1A is also is even in some parts of a little bit of North Africa. You see it in what do you call it? In Cameroon. Later on, we'll go for our people who are even in Ouagadougou or Burkina Faso. And so. Things are going to happen. Things are going to happen. Since these people think they can use identity and trade because we are liberal, and we will bring the truth about who we are, and you're going to see that they cannot defeat the truth. Now that you have scientific facts to back it up, we thank God for them because they are doing this. That's why we're raising this issue now. If my people, if they weren't doing it, we would have gone our businesses. But no, they decided that they will have to crush us. And facts and figures are coming out. So we can also make inquiries from our elders, but remember science, like nobody can defeat that scientific fact, those scientific facts of E1PNA. They cannot defeat it. No matter what they want to do and how they want to do it, it won't fly. So this one is not politics, or politics of I came from the ground or I fell from the sky. No, our politics don't go with that, and our religion and spirituality don't go with that. The only person we knew that came from the ground was Adam. Other than that, nobody else fell from the sky and came from the ground. So we need you to understand that the Igbo are in 14 states, and we must be able to defeat and defend that truth. What is happening is the federal government is actually intimidating our people, like in Benue and all the rest of them. They are the ones who intimidate them. Tell them you are not Igbo, you are not Igbo, you are not. Don't believe that at all. This, that. So, but that we have our migrations even from 1100 AD, 9th century AD, 8th century AD, were even in the West. As Oni of Ife himself has said, Oni, that Igbo were there. 1,200 years ago, at least we were there in Ife. So understand what we're saying. We are going back into history now to begin to bring out what is the truth. There were, migrations into Agbo and so on and so, which is in the 1500, until they came to Onichado and Onichokwane and Onichuku, and Ezi Obompa and Onicha Olona and so on and so forth. The migrations of our people from Ado and Idu, which is in Edo state, and these facts cannot be swept under the carpet. Never. So we will defend them, and ensure that we spread this truth to our people so that Nigeria's deception will end. It will end completely. 700 to 800 AD, 8th and 9th centuries, witnessed great population movements. After disintegration of Ado, Naidu, Ibira, Igala, Iyala, and Idoma are migrations from Ado, Naidu. I'll say that again. 8th to 9th centuries AD, that is 1,200 years ago, witnessed great migration movements after the disintegration of Ado, Naidu, Ibira, Igala, Iyala, and Idoma are migrations. And look at the way they sound. Ibira, Igala, Iyala, Idoma. Don't they sound alike? Is it not the same language process? Syntax that you're looking at here sounding similar. They are migrations from Ado, Naidu. All the dialects spoken in Ado, of which Igbo was the central one, has since developed into several languages. Let's get this clear. That's to reference to this man who's talking about being docked. And some people go and believe that. There are some Nupe communities who still retain certain cultural aspects of their Igbo relatedness. Nupe, somebody cannot be answering some Da Isaiah. The Fulani don't answer in Da. Nupe was conquered in the when they came in 1804, 1806, 1806, 1808. This is when Nupe was conquered by the Fulani. This is all about conquest for them. You see? So they are not Fulani people. So all the dialects spoken in Ado, of which Igbo was central one, had since been developed to several languages. They had some Nupe communities still retain cultural aspects of their Igbo relatedness. These can be found in names, places, persons, male circumcision. They perform male circumcision, 4-day week or market days. They have 4-day week or market day. We look into their culture. We look into their rituals, their practices to see the similarities that are there. An Igbo emblem of authority, the Ofo and Ikenga, as a symbol of personal aspiration, achievement, and age grade in the social order. They still maintain the social order, so that to show you the relatedness of us and those people. There is an earth deity as ultimate sanction in enforcement of rules of the land or proper conduct among the citizens. The ritual blood covenant of Iwando, by whatever name called, as the basis of indissoluble inter-community and interpersonal relationship, and certain linguistic factors such as the place and personal names, titles, words, phrases, which are common to Igbo and these communities. We must maintain this information. They are true. If you go to Nupe and investigate, you'll see that. So we're talking about Biafra, we're talking about our people, all of us, all the way to Nupe land. Period. We're living. We are not leaving our people behind. Influenced by the British colonial act, the Middle Belt region, especially the Benue section, was ethnographically allocated to the north rather than the south. You see that I told you, if you put a line, horizontal line in half of Nigeria, you see that even Southern Kaduna belongs to the south, not north. It's not a northern region. So the British and the Fulani cannot come and begin to teach us something reverse of what even the British themselves taught us about north and south. You can't tell us about north and south and then change the rules. You move the goalpost. What for? So influenced by the British colonial outlook, the Middle Belt region, especially the Benue section, was ethnographically allocated to the north rather than the south. A dichotomy was introduced into the educational system of the country. This was such that northern students were not allowed to attend government secondary schools in the south because they don't want them to change. They don't want to change their mind. They want to be able to indoctrinate them, take them away from these people so you can indoctrinate them properly. See that? If they did at all, it was in no appreciable number. Instead, exclusive government schools were established for northerners. Even they continued the attendance of these, like the Doma youth who were already attending Christian mission schools in the south, was discouraged. So you see, they did everything, the colonial powers, to ensure that they divide us from our people, who were the Doma people. So we must understand the game plan and what is going on and do whatever we can to resist this wrong information that is peddled everywhere. Our relationship to the Igala people who are in Kogi State, it is there. Nothing changes. And Ida, people in Ida, we talk about Eri. Eri is said to have 4 sons, 1 daughter by his senior wife, Namako. These sons were Nri, Aguleri, Bariam, and Amuanuke. In that order, according to Nri tradition. Eri also had another son called Ida. Ida, by a later and younger wife, Ida also called Igala or Igara, was the ancestor of several communities called Ida or Igala. One of them is the well-known Igala kingdom. You see that? That's just one of them. And it's time to say this truth so that young people, you have to investigate. Even your fathers may not have this type of information. That's a fact. Because it's what you're exposed to that you know. Yeah. But to investigate it, you have a right to investigate it and find out if it's true. But we're telling you because we know our sources are reliable. Our sources are believable. Our sources are authentic. And we have scientific evidence to back them up. So when we see these kinds of information, we know that the dispersal of the Igbo and kindred communities from Adonidu produce similarities in original names caused by time and cultural assimilations. Benin history and the territory contain such Igbo-related names as Udo, Oda, Oduani, Obi, Amade, Udochi, Ubi, Eke, Olo, Okoro, Okoli, Ukole, Okoji, Kota, Ebo, and Oboro. So these are migrations of the Igbo, and what it says, in some cases, the names are pronounced with such rapidity that they lose the original phonetic patterns. Examples as Ibuzo. Okay, Ibuza is simply from Nri. We know that. There is Ibuku, which is Ibuku, now in Isoko town. You see that? Isoko is now in Ibuku. So you can see the changes in names. These are our people, and we want to let them know. Don't let Nigerians deceive you. Don't let Nigerians deceive you. Make and do DNA tests. Those of you who are abroad, you can go to an Igbo person, do DNA tests with him. So he can tell you, your DNA test will tell you better what we're saying. So please do that. Do it with African ancestry, because African ancestry has a pool of DNA of different African nations, to thousands of them, within their own data. So that database, they can pull and match from it to find out exactly where you belong. And then that will settle some of these arguments for you. So River State, which, what is his name? Yusuf Mohammed, the impostor, is saying that, oh yeah, he met some people from another, and then some people think about River State. So let's look at River State, okay, and see. I need to share this before we close a little bit so that people can understand. Remember, Winnings Commission said Port Harcourt was an Igbo city. Simple. Yeah. It's an Igbo city because those land is Igbo land, Igbo people. Other places which are believed to have been settled by Igbo-speaking groups following the migration from Adonidu, who subsequently were subsequently absorbed by the majority linguistic or ethnic group, among whom they settled, include all places bearing the names Okoro, Okolo, or Oko, whether by themselves or in combination with some adjectival suffix of the local language, like Okoro village east of Porakot River State, Okorete and Okoriko villages east of Opobo, River State or Akwa Ibom State. Okorinyang, Akwa Ibom in River State, Okoroba village in southeast of Yenagoa, Bayelsa State, Okorobandum village south of Ogoja, Cross River State, Okorobamfankom village southeast of Ikom, Cross River State, Okoloba village southeast of Focados, Delta State, Okoroboko village southwest of Tegema, River State, Okolovu village north of Wari, Delta State, Okolo Rihie and Okolo village northeast of Focados, Delta State, Oko village southwest of Benin City, Oko village in, of course, Anambra State. We have Okolo village in Anambra. Okoloma village northeast and east of Porakot, a village in Ndoki in Okwa local government area of Abia State was named Okoloma for the large number of large number of Kulu birds found there by Ndoki settlers. There is another village named Okoloma in Okrika, east of Porakot. So you can see the relationship between these names, and they're all over the place. So you can see why they want to divide you and say you are not Igbo, leave them alone. They are now a dot in the map. Yeah, so Igbo in River State, names like Egbema is Igbo. They speak Igbo. Eche speak Igbo. Tradition is Igbo. Everything is Igbo. DNA is Igbo. Omuma, Ndoni, you know, and then some large groups of Ika migration settled Palin in Ndoni and Andoni, known in Igbo as Idoni or Nde Oni. Nde Oni, that is what it means. The other side in Ndoni. Ikwere, Epeye, Obibo, of course. You know where this guy, what is his name? Amechi. Is that Amechi? The man who has a crisis, the governor of Rivers State. I don't know why I keep forgetting his name. Decided to go and kill people. There is Opobo, there's Oba, and Boni. So 80% Igbo at least. So these are names that shows that what this President Buhari impostor is saying is completely wrong, and we shouldn't believe that. So if I will keep the floor open for closing remarks, if those who have anything to contribute, to please do so before we close for the day. Yeah, if you have anything to contribute, you want to say something for the panels, members of the panel. If you have anything to say, we would like to have that. If you're there, give us your closing remarks.
Okay. Okay, I'm here.
Yeah, give us a little short closing remarks if you have.
Okay, my closing remarks are people should live up to the expectations. I'm also saying that I'm surprised that even this our Southeast governors has not come out to talk back on Buhari for calling us a dot and what have you. You know, initially when this, as in even the debate that Buhari is not talking to the Igbos is strange to me. We all know who he was talking to, because to him, when we started the struggle, he called out QB and the youth protesting, jobless people, people without any work, that because we're jobless, that's why we're protesting. And for him to say today that we have properties scattered all over, in other words, he's talking to the Igbo, because if it was about IPOB and the young people who they claim are strong, they would not have had properties scattered all over. And we mustn't lose the fact that these guys are after the abandoned property. That's what they're already telling us about properties and every other thing. So we must remain constant. We must and we must also fight this narrative of making us a violent one. Why is that they're going all over the country, killing our people? If there's anything, these are the things that we must tackle. And then I expect more of our people to come out and challenge him for those words that he used. And I thank God that we are seeing some South group, as the case may be. Not really anybody from South. we were seeing most people now coming out to educate him and telling him that even if they will never be with Nigeria, and I expect anybody who is reasonable as of this time to stand up and tell him, even if anything happens, we will not be with this great country because we've suffered injustice, and the injustice is not for us alone. If we go, they will transfer those things to other people. So it's time that our people come out to tell him in the language you understand. And we must always, if there's any other, we must learn from now to talk to Buhari and Nigeria in the language they understand. And we all know the language they understand. Talk back to them and then don't allow them to change the narrative. That's the language they understand. So see you next time. Thank you all.
Thank you for that, Somari Chukwusikediwa. I would like to call on Ahmed Flukando to give us his closing remarks.
Thank you very much, members of the panel today. My brother, Majo Chinawata, as usual, you've done what you have to do good. I thank you. It's a long time we really talked to each other. But I know you've been fully engaged doing what you have to do. Just like each and every one of us, what we are doing. So I would say good job. What just came to my observation was that same Buhari's comment that he talked with the youths and the elders of South, and they all said that they are not part of Biafra. To this, I have to read something that just came to my attention. They sent to me, where they are saying, let me see, they were disproving the claim of Buhari. Here it says, knife of 1968 will not cut in 2021. Niger Deltans reply Buhari, say Igbos are our blood relations. It is very telling. Let me just read what is written here. It says, the Niger Delta Self-Determination Movement, NDSDM, has berated President Muhammadu Buhari over his comment during Arise TV interview on Thursday. President Buhari had said that Igbos are a dot in a circle, hence wouldn't have any access if they were to secede from Nigeria. The president made the comment to ridicule the agitations of the proponents of a sovereign state of Biafra, who are demanding to split from the Lord Lugard 1914 amalgamation. Buhari said, IPOB are just like a dot in a circle. If they want to exist, they wouldn't have access to anywhere. And the way they are spread all over the country, having businesses, having properties, I think IPOB doesn't know what they are talking about. Reacting, the Niger Delta Self-Determination Movement, in a statement titled, The Knife of 1968 Will Not Cut in 2021, and signed by the convener, Ms. Ankyo Briggs, told Buhari off. So, and they continued, they said Ms. Briggs told the president to exclude Ijos from any untoward plans he has for the Igbos, noting that Niger Deltans share blood relationship with the Igbos. She categorically stressed that the Niger Delta people are also agitating for their own survival, hence do not intend to oppose Ndi Igbo to their own survival if they choose to leave Nigeria. The statement reads in part, as an Ijaw and from one of the community that is at the mouth of the Atlantic Ocean, of Niger Delta and of southern Nigeria, whoever from the south that have assured or agrees with Buhari that Igbos are a dot is on their own, and the Niger Delta Self-Determination Movement, while agitating for our own survival, do not intend to oppose Ndi Igbo to their own survival, even if they want to leave Nigeria. The majority of the ethnic nationalities of Niger Delta have not only a geographical relationship with Ndi Igbo, but have a blood relationship with Igbo people that we do not share with Buhari and his people. I want to say to Ms. Aikian Briggs, that was a very good article. Because as I was making contacts yesterday, I was told that as I was on the phone with the person I was speaking with in Port Harcourt, told me that as we speak, that they had demonstrators or protesters who were, the group that were saying that they are not going to be IPOB. But this one from the IQ Bricks is very, very authentic. And I just want to say to our people that South people are Biafrans. They are our brothers and sisters. The write-up right now is so conclusive. It makes a lot of sense. It has to be done. All we are saying, we don't want to fight anybody. The facts are there. You have heard everything that Mazimo Galo, the extension of the things he said about our people, the locations of Igbos everywhere. We just have to take it that way. All I'm asking everybody is, let us check what comes from our mouth. Let whatever comes from our mouth, let it be the things that build us. Because it's some of these things, little grievances between two individuals, before you know it, with the provision of social media, things happen and people say, talk things that are very disgusting. We don't want that. Additionally, I want also our people to know, okay, that the Fulanis are in some of, especially in the Owerri area, killing our boys and all those things. Be not afraid. That's all I want to say to you. Be not afraid. At the appropriate time, things will take care of. And please, do not participate in pointing to anybody, to the Fulanis, that this is this person, this is this person. Keep your lane, walk your lane. Each and every agitating group, please, I'm pleading, Radio Biafra International, BRN, we are all pleading with everybody, keep to your lane and let us continue working until eventually we are all going to come together as one for the freedom we so urgently deserve. Thank you very much, everybody. May God bless us and let us keep on fighting.
Thank you so much, Amiflukani, for that. I'll call on Ojofo Chinawata to give us his closing remarks for the day's program.
Yeah, thank you again, my brother, Odimo Alo. Thank you so much. And Chuk Zukediwe. I was your man. All my co-panelists, I appreciate everyone and everyone's contributions. My brother, I'm only going to mention a little things here, simply because our people back home, sometimes they do something wonderful. And because we have not been able to experience that kind of thing, that kind of love, we tend to gloss it over. And we tend to, just basically act like it never happened or we didn't even notice it. Something is very unique this time around. And what is unique is that our people spoke loud and clear without a single mention of one single word. I don't know if you are making sense. I don't know if anyone is understanding what I'm saying here. What I'm saying here is that the northern Nigeria, after creating the havoc in Southeast, after trying to push Nigerians into believing now that the problem comes from Southeast. Southeast is always where the trouble spot is in Nigeria. They tried it and were pushing our people. Say your position. Say something. And our people remained silent. Then I remember the word my father used to use all the time. He would say, son, silence is golden. And indeed it is. Silence is golden, coming from the so-called Igbo leaders at this time. Una do well, as they say. So I'll have to commend our people to rising up to the occasion and actually shocking the conscience and shocking the naysayers who just think because the tiger is sleeping, the lion is asleep, or maybe enjoying a very good nap and they think he's dead and come to touch the tail. Our people, you did well. You did well, because I don't expect you guys to even now turn around and say something, because the northern talking heads, the noise makers there from the north are asking you and urging you to comment where you stand with IPOB or with the secessionists, they call it. They tend to ignore that Nwodo, during Nwodo's regime, Nwodo was walking across the Niger shaking hands, left and right, going to Benue shaking hands, and trying to beg Nigeria to restructure. And nobody said a word. They kept mute. They kept quiet. And the reason why they kept quiet is because they know they have the army in their pocket, and they know they have the military in their pocket, and they know that they have the arch terrorist himself, Buhari, who is a revenant living idiot that stood out there and says attack on Boko Haram is attack on the north. And they have the so-called emir, or maybe, let's say a sheikh. I don't know what sheikh does in Islam, but I think my understanding is the sheikh is like we have a preacher, or maybe a reverend, or maybe a pastor, or whatever it is. We have Sheikh Gumi, who knows everywhere the terrorists reside in Nigeria, who is advocating for very good welfare package from the Nigerian state for the terrorists. And we have the northern governors and the northern political elite and the Arewa Consultative Forum and the Northern Elders Forum and even the Sokoto Caliphate itself praising Boko Haram, telling you that they are repentant. They are not really bad people. So they are actually now terrorists, and they are proving to you that they are terrorists, and they want Nigerians to be dead, and they are killing Nigerians. That's what they are saying. That's basically what they are telling Nigerians. So the issue is, are Nigerians able to understand that and decipher that? Which I think they have. Because our compatriots from the western part of Nigeria now are up to their gate. They have actually understood what we were trying to say since 1967. The rest of Nigeria, Governor Otom himself has actually stood up and stood out as the only, is a lonely voice in the wilderness, calling for sanity in Nigeria. You see, my brother Mogalo, these people have no idea. Nigerian people are basically, they are very forgiving, and I would say, have no idea what they are facing. They don't know what they are facing because they don't know the scripture. They don't know the devilish and the monk spirit that leads Fulanis. They don't know that Fulanis are not people that you negotiate with. Fulanis, you cannot negotiate with them. You cannot reason with them. You cannot reason with an unreasonable person. 1 + 1 = 1, or equals to 2, or equals to 3, or equals to 4, or equals to 5, or whatever it is to these Fulanis. It depends what they feel like. That is the meaning of Fulanis. So if you're expecting them to say, okay, 1 + 1 = 2, that's what it is. No. 1 + 1 to Fulani means whatever Fulani says it is at the time, because it's not always the same thing all the time. Now tell me how you reason with that person. Tell me how you can make a deal, or how you can actually be able to sit with that person to negotiate about anything. Somebody that doesn't even understand what you are talking about. See, Biafrans know what they are doing. They chose peace over war. Not that we cannot fight. Because in the Third World War, they call Nigerian Biafran War. We showed the world that we can fight. That's not the issue now. We are talking about referendum and they keep on referring us to war, as if we're asking for war. If we ask for war, when we are ready for war, the entire world will know that we have come to war. So I am very happy that the Southeastern political elite just did not buy into the nonsense coming out of the North for them to comment, declare we stand now, as if they have not heard, as if they are not understanding, or maybe they are unaware that the political elite and the so-called the mainstream Biafrans are not in line with the so-called secessionists. If Biafra from coming abroad the Hausa, if Biafrans from coming abroad Nigeria or Britain or anyone, if Biafrans from coming is our brothers. Problem is back home. It's with our people. I don't know what gave Nigerian people or even the Fulanese or even the so-called Hausa, I don't even know what gives them the hope or maybe the gumption to think if Biafrans really woke up and said, we want Biafra that we cannot get our own country. After all, without Biafrans, where is Nigeria? That is a question they have to ask. It is those mellow-minded, liberal-minded, progressive-minded, or people who believe to give peace a chance, which is in our nature, that are actually holding their brothers back and saying dialogue with Nigeria, talk with Nigeria, let us restructure Nigeria, let us do this with Nigeria. And Nigeria is what? Bluffing everyone as if they're in control of anything. Now, we have said it again before and we're saying it again. Nigeria, if we come to get Biafra, you will know when we do. The world will know when we come to do. Besides, it's not full and irresponsibility to give Biafrans Biafra independence. We already have independence directly from God himself. So you cannot assume, you're going to make a decision. So you can bring your women and bring your children and protest, give Biafrans referendum as if you are doing something, just to change the narrative. The game is up. We know your antics. We know how you play. Nigerians are now up to your game. They have already understood how you play, and now that game is no longer working. My brother. So we have seen what the antics of the Fulanis are. They are the ones terrorizing people and killing people everywhere. If we say we want peace, we want to negotiate how we're going to live, he said, no! The unity of Nigeria is paramount. There's no discussion. So the only way we can be in Nigeria is to be subjugated under you. I say it is mission impossible. You haven't even realized where you are and whom you're dealing with. Thank you, my brother, for having me. But if Fulanis think that Igbos are now gone to sleep, that because, or maybe there's no weapon, or maybe that this, or maybe we're a dot, I will tell them to go on and ask, go on. Go on, let the war. I think that's the most important person Nigeria should actually be talking to now. Say, go on. What is your best advice for us now? Because you take Igbos for granted, my brother, or you take Biafrans for granted, you do that at your own risk. Thank you again for having me today, and may God continue to bless all of us, and God will see us through in realizing Biafra. Thank you again, my brother.
Thank you so much, our Igbo, on irrepressible and irreplaceable, the Ejiofor Ochinawata. People, you have heard it. I am taking down my own points from that. That it is not the Fulani that is holding us from getting there. It is our own people. That is why the campaign is very, very important, and how you change other people's mind. If you're tired of oppression, convince the other person that you need to get out of here, because your effort is necessary to make that successful. Very necessary. Everybody's effort. Thank you so much, Master Shinawaka, for that lesson. I want to call on Ozio Meme to give us her closing remarks. Assist Ozio Meme, if I'm able to be in connection with her. Since I'm not able to do it.
Yes.
Okay, she's here.
Yes, I'm there. I'm just going to say thank you to all the wonderful panelists. I'm not going to mention names because I don't want to miss anyone. You all know who you are. You guys did an excellent job today. Changing, well, I guess, whatever you call it, we are programming our people to think right. To think like people who are created by God Almighty, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac and Jacob. He doesn't make junk. And you guys know that better than anybody. So let us all act like the Father that we have and act towards what He wants us to be, and be that, because He's already provided for it. Like Mazi Ochinawata said, we are holding ourselves, and we have to release that hold we have on ourselves and move forward. It's like driving while you're looking at the rear view mirror of your car. You can't move too far. So let us all look forward and do what we need to do. Unity is a big plus for us as we move forward. I'm really glad that most of the Biafra meaning people, the real ones that count, not the ones that are sold out to our enemies, the ones that account, which is the ones that are listening to our radio station, the ones that are working towards getting a Biafra that we will all one day, just rejoice and thank God for all the wonderful things He's done for us. We all need to continue to march in the same lane, not the same lane. Everybody has a lane, everybody has a job to do. Stay on your lane and do your job, and we all march in the same direction. If it's a relay race, let's pass the relay right, do it right, so that the next person can run faster. I mean, we survived the Biafra War in 1967, 70, 71 with all the atrocities committed by Britain in that war. And now that social media is there, I mean, we are even much better and more armed than anything. The genocidal government we have, Buhari's government, they may call us a dot in a circle that's running around, and we don't have a way out, but we have news for him. Our God is bigger than your big circle. You know this one you call a dot in your circle? Our God is bigger than you and that circle you have. So with that, let us all continue to walk and move forward so that we can realize Biafra and then be a force for all other brothers and sisters we have around Africa, because Africa, all of Africa is like on a, a chokehold from all the foreign imperialists we have. And there are so many of them, and we know them all. But we're starting with our own Biafra. Let's get Biafra, and then we'll move forward. The sky and the sun is the limit. God is giving us that limit. Let's not, lessen it and reduce it to the spec that the genocidal Buhari is calling us. We are not that. We are more than whatever Nigeria thinks they can bring. So let's move forward. Let's unite. And I'm glad we're uniting. Let's tighten that circle up so that we can fight fight a united fight with our one common enemy, who is the genocidal government of Buhari. So thank you all. Have an awesome, blessed weekend, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you so much, our wonderful sister. She is a dear friend to the core, and whatever she says, believe you me, listen seriously. You wouldn't miss anything. All right, our listeners, we'll call it a day now. And from me, from our able panelists, and our oncoming Anchor Leo and Emina, the professional, world-class professional, who's able to hold on to this media, broadcasting across the world. And from me, Odimoalo, it is goodbye and see you next time. God bless you and keep fighting for Biafra to the glory of God. Thank you and God bless you.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Oh yeah, Mr. Friday, hey, equity, yeah, boy. What we need is freedom. Agitation is all that we do. Not that freedom, now waiting we want. God, no, not peaceful contest. If you kill low, you don't send me down. Agitation is all that we do. Not that freedom, now waiting we want. God, no, not peaceful contest. If you kill low, you don't send me down.
I wake up in the morning to see people falling. I wake up in the morning to see army shooting. What are they shooting? And who is running? All of the soldiers that we might live. Come to Abia, there is bloodshed. The blood of the innocents are calling for revenge. Come to Abia, there is bloodshed. All of the soldiers that we might live. Come to Abia, there is bloodshed. Innocent souls are calling for revenge. Though we raise a flag, they shoot us down. Biafra, we stand and nothing more. But they are shooting, and we are dying. And we are marching out today in thousands. Though we speak out loud, they shoot us down. Biafra, we stand and nothing more.
Agitation is all that we do. Not that freedom, now waiting we want. God, no, now peaceful contest. If you kill low, you don't send me down. Agitation is all that we do. Not that freedom, now waiting we want. God, no, now peaceful contest. If you kill low, you don't send me down. Many things where they happen for Nigeria. Many things where they happen, I know like every day shooting and killing my brother. People dying like flies, it no good oh. Oh no, it no good oh. Killing innocent people fighting for the right, it no good oh. Our state is on fire now. All we need is our freedom. Baba God in the sky, I they call you. All the people of the east, I they hear you. Make we keep them on the move, we go make them. God helping us, all we go make them. Agitation is all that we do. Not that freedom, now waiting we want. God, no, now peaceful contest. If you kill low, you don't send me down. Agitation is all that we do. Not that freedom, now waiting we want. God, no, now peaceful contest. If you kill low, you don't send me down. Agitation is all that we do. Not that freedom, now waiting we want. God, no, now peaceful contest. If you kill low, you don't send me down. Together, together, the more we fight together, the stronger we shall be. The more we fight together, 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 the more we fight together, and stronger we shall be. Rising soul, rising soul. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Believe it or leave it, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. We've been crying, the world claim not to hear. And we've been lamenting, the world claim not to hear. Our tears flow, the world claim not to see. And our blood flow, the world claim not to see. This is a crime, oh no, against humanity. Oh no, yeah, this is a crime. Eritrea spoke out, they were given independence. South Sudan spoke, they were given independence. Namibia spoke, they were given independence. Give me the reason my people got to be neglected. Give me the reason my people got to be rejected. Give me the reason our freedom got to be a crime. Give me the reason our own freedom got to be denied. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. I tell you what, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Believe it or leave it. Oh no. Whoa. That was physical battle, and we're betrayed by the people them trust. Today zeros are fighting. This is a spiritual battle. Let us unite and give Biafra a meaning. If we don't take time, we got to remain in this land. No freedom of speech, no freedom of expression, no freedom of worship, no freedom of religion. Justice denied. Oh, of my own very people. Hey. Justice denied. Hey. On the rising sun. Hey. Justice denied. Oh, my freedom fighter. Yeah. What is so bad? My people wanna be liberated. What is so bad? My people wanna be independent. What is so bad? My people wanna be alone. This is the time we will make it known to the world. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africa.
hope of Africa. I tell you what, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Hospitality, positive education, positive economic, positive hospitality. I tell you what, positive. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africans. I tell you what, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. My people will cry. Biafrans will cry. My people are suffering. Oh, Biafrans are crying.
When some people here say you they abroad, them go conclude say you know the sweat. Them go begin count months for you. Some go begin count years for you. Life in abroad it no be so. And so I think it no be so. If you know go, you know go know. Waiting who go to see him on for the mad on the inner street. From a PK just go better. Some people are homeless yet you know go know. So forget waiting Facebook they show. The street is rough to make them tough. Who no go tell you how we do be? Maybe you know put pressure on me. Now my own race I just they run. The street is rough to make them tough. Who no go tell you how we do be? Maybe you know put pressure on me. Now my own race I just they run. The agents go tell you say the moment you enter, the company driver go pick you from airport. The next day you go begin to work. Within 2 months you don't begin to enjoy. Some people in the village get money back so they abroad. Even guy man when don't get money, it's free to take pictures in bank. I want to go to Dubai. I want to go Malaysia. If you see my guy pictures on Facebook, now he done the shine. The street is rough to make them love.
Igbo bi mapụtala o, imezala Igbo anyị apụtala o, itozi ọdịnala Igbo ndị na-eme nke ọjọọ o wee dịka ọdịnala Igbo jọrọ njọ. Ndị bịara na-aba anyị mebi ife anyị ejidere ha n'ọfọ. Ha ga-eri mbọmbọ 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 n'ala Igbo ha ga-eri mbọmbọ 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 n'ala Igbo ụmụ Igbo ala Igbo onye na-eme nke ọma jide nke iji mata eje. Onye na-eme nke ọjọọ wepụ aka enwe n'ofe. Igbu mmadụ ife ala Igbo sọrọ nsọ. Iwere ihe mmadụ ibe gị ụkwụ ife ala Igbo sọrọ nsọ. Arụkwụsị 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 n'ala Igbo. Arụkwụsị 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 n'ala Igbo. Ụmụ Igbo ala Igbo
Oh boy, yeah. Oh boy, ha. I say what you been waiting for is on your doorstep. I say what you been waiting for in your house. 30th of May, 30th of May, 30th of May, you prove yourself in your land, yo. I say, dear friends, 30th of May is the time to prove yourselves. Imagine what they want to do right in your land, yo. Sometime I wonder what you've been waiting for. I could stand by and watch them iniquity take over your land. You better gonna rise and defend your land. Your friend rise and defend your land. Your friends should rise and protect your land on the 30th of May. You better rise and think against the right. You better rise, not back against the wall. Walk up on the height, walk up on the corner and defend your land. Hey, I said them approaching your place and left and right in that center. They wanna take you for us again and destroy your lives. You know one thing I want to say, make sure you don't fool yourself again. Don't let no one do it for you. Cannot no one will do it for you. Only you, dear friends, sons and daughters and warriors will rise. Only Biafran kings and queens will rise again. Hey, you not imagine what they want to do with all your lands and life. If you want to waste your time to mess around, on the 30th of May, on the 30th of May is the only time you want to prove yourself before the nations of the world. 30th of May, observation, 30th of May is the day you remember the heroes and the warriors, sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, children of Biafra, Kwashoko people. Hey, hey, 6 million dying, counting on, and a 6 million killed, we continue on, and a 6 million dead, we continue on. Only 30th of May, you prove to the world that you are able. Hey, on the 30th of May, you prove to the world that you are able. Don't let no one collect the money from all them traitors. Come and cause you to lean on, come and cause you to go astray. On the 30th of May, the 30th of May, 30th of May is the day you prove yourself. The whole world watching, whole world listening, the whole world waiting for Biafran warriors to rise again. The whole world waiting for Biafran warriors to rise again. Hey, and I wanna know what you're waiting for. And I want to know what you're sitting for. And I want to know why you're back against the wall and I'm waiting. Hey, on the 30th of May, on the 30th of May, 30th of May is the day you prove yourselves. On 30th of May is the day you prove yourselves, dear friends.
Biafra is proud to launch its new mobile app. This app makes it easier for listeners to access live and repeat broadcasts at any given time. The app is available on Android and Apple stores and is free to install, so just search for Radio Biafra into all one word to get the app on your device.
Radio Biafra International broadcasts are always anchored on well-researched information and not based on personalities, frivolities, and foul languages. The main objective of Radio Biafra International is to empower Biafrans and give them knowledge through professionally delivered information, education, and enlightenment towards the ultimate goal of restoration of the nation of Biafra.
So don't forget, Radio Biafra into all one word.
And join us during our podcasts, and you'll be glad you did.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. You are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people, you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad. Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else and will fit somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.